Well, let's get back to it.
Blimey, what a litany of misery that news bulletin was. Why can't people just get along? They need a warning, like a help me button on Twitter now? Struth, what's wrong with people? I think I was happy when we were only talking about the royal baby. I bet they've had their rooms soundproofed, so that they're not inconvenienced in any way. And this giant cloud of baby slaves go rushing to it the moment it starts coughing. And Kate will get up at the crack of noon and start her daily, I don't know what she does, brushes her hair all day, grooms herself, her long, lustrous locks, brushing and brushing and brushing, while Wills doesn't. Hey, there's something falling from the sky. What's that? The glorious spell of sunshine that Britain has been basking in for the last few weeks has come to an abrupt end, has it ever? The Met Office has issued a weather warning for heavy downpours and thunderstorms for part of the country. Weather experts have warned that some regions may be hit by localised flooding from this evening into Sunday. And the Met Office has issued a yellow weather warning.
Warning, warning!
Don't drink the yellow rain. In fact, don't even get it on you. This is following heavy concerns that heavy showers and concerns even that heavy showers and thunderstorms expected over France today could move north to affect the southeast of England and East Anglia. And this thundery weather is expected to move north to cover large parts of England on Sunday, with as much as 30 millimetres of rain falling in 1 hour in southeast areas. 30 millimetres of rain. That's
We're looking at 10 inches.
More or less. Forecaster Sean said there was every chance of flash flooding in areas affected by the torrential rain. There's a pool of warm air moving up from the continent, which should arrive in the southeast of England by tomorrow afternoon. It's here already. That's going to bring heavy and thundery rain across much of the southeast, before it moves in a northwesterly direction across the Midlands, parts of East Wales and southwest England. I hope you're noting all this down. This rain is going to keep pushing north on Sunday into northern England and Scotland, and then moving into the west. Further showers and outbreaks of rain with the risk of thunder is going to affect, everywhere. But right here is going to bear the brunt of it. 30 millimetres expected to fall within 1 hour, and 50 millimetres within 3 hours in some places, which compares with the average rainfall of 80 millimetres for the whole of July. That's what we get ordinarily, and almost that entire amount will fall in just a couple of hours. Are you ready? And this is after weeks of uninterrupted blue skies and soaring temperatures, which have now come to a very wet end. Still, we've still got August. July was fantastic, and throughout it we were trying to forget June and May and April. The July heatwave saw the longest spell of hot weather to affect the whole of Britain for 7 years, with temperatures exceeding 82 Fahrenheit somewhere in the UK for 19 consecutive days. Can you believe it? Ordinarily a summer will go by, and to see 82 seems like just a fantasy. 19 consecutive days. What's that in weeks? 19 divided by 7 is, I think, that's about 6 weeks. The Met Office's Lindy says the best of the summer weather is over for now. Gone. Disparu. Vanished. Temperatures will stay above average, however, and it will remain quite humid. So sticky. Now, this is a story about the Olympic... and by the way, they re-showed the Olympic opening ceremony on TV today, and I missed it again. I was thinking, you know what, I'd quite like to see that again. They did not alert us to the fact that they were going to repeat it. Never mind, it's gone. But if you have a souvenir from the Olympics, then you may be sitting on, well, not a fortune, a couple of £100, something of that sort. This is the Times today. When the Olympics began a year ago today, the country was awash with tat, from stamps to posters to zany, one-eyed mascots. Those stupid things. I can't believe that the heads were put together, and that's what they came up with. A set of 34 Paralympic stamps, originally available for £25, will now sell for £300. 12 times the price. A signed photo of Usain Bolt, worth 50 to 60 quid a year ago, now 250. A limited edition Olympic torch-bearer figure costing 45 quid last year could go for 200. And a single shuttlecock from the men's singles gold medal match could fetch more than £250, 5 times the selling price after the game. Relay torches, those big golden sticks, which were sold to the bearers for 215 quid, are successfully auctioned these days for a minimum of 1,000. And in one case, a torch which was used to light the cauldron reportedly went on eBay for more than £150,000. And if you bought one of those large statues of Wenlock or Mandeville, those mascots last summer, you could. This was the big 6-foot statues. You could make £2,000 on the original price of 2,500 for those giant metallic one-eyed penis monsters from space. Savvy collectors are already cashing in with bidding on the torch signed by Roger Black on eBay at 1,550. A pair of Olympic trunks signed by the diver Tom Daly were advertised for £325. Signed by him, they were so microscopic I'm amazed he could get his whole name on. Maybe just put his initials, TD. So, let the undercurrent of the programme be, what is your most extraordinary or valued souvenir? Not of the Olympics necessarily, but just in general. 0845 6060 973. Now, one of the things that I was mentioning yesterday was the slow demise of the newspaper industry, and the Independent is fighting against its own staff that want to go on strike. I'll come to the figures in just a minute. I'm just scanning them now. Oh, it's not good. The Independent editor Amol Rajan, I wonder if that's how you pronounce it, has warned journalists on the Independent newspaper that voting for strike action would send a catastrophic message to the owner, Evgeny Lebedev. In an email to the staff, he said that industrial action would give Lebedev very little confidence that journalists were committed to the future of the Independent. He said a yes vote will give him very little confidence that they are prepared to steer the independent print brands on a course that can lead them to safety and sustainability. This could be catastrophic for the titles, he said. A no vote, on the other hand, to industrial action would be seen as a genuine commitment to securing the independent print brands as a credible and valued part of a wider, dynamic and influential media company. I'm sure the owner would respond positively to this, he said. It would be tragic if this opportunity were to be lost. Please show your support and vote no to industrial action. That's what the editor of The Independent said to his staff. And how did they take that? Well, not that great. This comes hours after independent journalists wrote to Lebedev warning that the latest cuts would be a tipping point for the title. The National Union of Journalists has opened a ballot for industrial action at the title, including a possible walkout over plans to make 27 staff roles redundant among its editorial staff of 190. They've got 190 people writing that paper? I don't mean that as an insult. I'm just quite surprised that that's the number of people they've got. Really? Like full-time, 190 people clacking away on their typewriters, or the current equivalent? Michel Stanistreet, who is the National Union of Journalists' General Secretary, said, "It's a poor show when management at the Independent resort to issuing threats to staff who are exercising their legal rights to take part in a ballot." She says this email shows exactly why journalists have to stick together and vote yes to stop compulsory redundancies and to defend quality journalism. Someone has to. Lebedev's independent print titles, which include The Independent on Sunday, I, and the London Evening Standard, are on course to lose £11.8 million this year. Earlier on Friday, it emerged that independent print has pulled out of Ireland with final copies of The Independent and its 20p sister title I going on sale in both the North and the Republic on the 2nd of August. Bye-bye, The Independent in Ireland. Now, which newspaper is going to be first to go? Because none of them are having a particularly happy time. In fact, the only newspaper that actually increased its readership, let me just check that this is absolutely right before I throw it at you. It is. The only one that increased its readership year on year was I, which is a terrible name for a newspaper. I. The I, or I. I, as in the small version of the Independent, went up by 12%, which is an absolutely incredible figure compared to everybody else, who all went down by occasionally massive amounts. How we still have this number of newspapers running in this country just seems astonishing to me. Some of them are they're bound to go. Some of them seem to be more than is necessary. Some of them, you look at them and you sort of flip through and you think, really, this is a newspaper? You get to the halfway stage and they're all exhausted. They're completely out of news, and they just rely on filling up the pages with adverts for action slacks, elasticated waisted old men's trousers, and shoes that are slip-ons. Well, I'll come to the gruesome details in just a moment. But souvenirs, what is your most valued, not necessarily expensive, but your most valued or extraordinary souvenir of anything? 0845 6060 973. Nick Abbott, LBC 97.3.
On your mobile. This is LBC 97.3. LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC 973. This is London's biggest conversation with Nick Abbott.
Wow, that was a list of hysterical royalists we had there. Thrilled they were, almost beside themselves. HAPPY. So, unlike the editors and the owners of the various national newspapers, which are sad, what's really weird is the change in fortunes of both the Independent and the I newspaper, one of which is the sister of the other, of course. Now, the Independent itself went down. You know what? I think I'm going to call it, unless you can tell me otherwise, that this is the one that's going to go first. Guess what figure of percentage it went down year on year. Now, bear in mind that it's from a very small base. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's still there. It went down 25% year on year. Without bulks, which is just what they refer to as just giving it away. You know, you go to a hotel or get an airline, and they'll just give you a newspaper. Without all that, 54,000 people bought the Independent. That is awful. On the other hand, the I newspaper went up by 12%. It's the only newspaper that actually put on readers. So it seems that people are ditching the Independent because it's more expensive and picking up the I. If they like one, then they'll like the other, and it's much less expensive. But that was the biggest fall. 25% down. Terrible. Followed by, of all the newspapers, taking account of the economic situation that we find ourselves in, of all the newspapers that you would think would be putting on numbers, people desperate to find out what the next thing to invest in is, keen to discover why we are here and how to get out of it, you would think that the Financial Times would be putting on readers. But it's the second biggest faller, down 14% year on year. And keep in mind that all of these figures are pretty much year after year after year. Down, down, down they go, like a song by Status Quo. And The Sun, which has been doing pretty well, relatively speaking, is down by 12%. The only one that sort of stayed there or thereabouts lately was the Mail, but that's down 7%. And the Times has done the best of all of them outside the I newspaper, which is so cheap they're virtually giving it away. The Times is down by about 0.5%, which, in the great scheme of things, is doing fantastically well. You can pop champagne corks there, and on the Sundays it's even more disastrous. The Mirror down 19, the People down 23, the Sunday Mail down 13, the Daily Star down 35%. Still in business. The Mail down 8, the Express down 13, the Times down 7, the Telegraph down 6, the Observer down 12, and the Independent on Sunday down 8. Something's got to give, one of them's got to go. Which one's it going to be? Place your bets, bet now, game's in play, bet now. J.J. Cale is dead. Oh, by the way, has anybody got a souvenir about anything at all? Look at that. Not one single person has got a souvenir of any kind whatsoever. Well, that certainly put me in my place. Singer-songwriter J.J. Cale, whose Cocaine and After Midnight were made famous by Eric Clapton, has died. He is dead now. The legendary singer-songwriter suffered a heart attack. The Grammy-winning artist was noted as the originator of the so-called Tulsa sound, a form which grew influences from blues and country and rockabilly and jazz. And as a performer, his biggest hit was Crazy Mama. Anybody remember that?
No.
No, I've got no idea what that is. But his skills as a songwriter is what gained him a permanent place in popular music history. He wrote a string of songs that were made more famous by artists like Eric Clapton and Santana and Lynyrd Skynyrd and Tom Petty. He said, basically, I'm just a guitar player that figured out I wasn't ever going to be able to buy a dinner with my guitar playing. So I got into songwriting, which is a little more profitable a business. Born in 1938 in Oklahoma City, raised in Tulsa, Cale's initial foray into the music industry was as a sound engineer. And his career as a songwriter was encouraged by Eric Clapton, who recorded a version of After Midnight in 1970. And the British blues guitarist went on to cover a series of Cale-penned tunes, including Travelling Light, I'll Make Love to You Anytime, and Cocaine. And others followed suit, with Maria Muldaur, Captain Beefheart among those to add Cale's songs to their set lists. Eric Clapton called him one of the masters of the last 3 decades of music. But despite such respect within the industry, he never achieved similar levels of fame as a performer. Asked in an interview on his website if it bothered him that while people might not have loved his, while people might have loved his songs, they may not have known his name, he said, "No, it doesn't bother me at all. What's really nice is when you get the cheque in the mail."
Rock and roll!
And now that cheque will be returned to sender. Address unknown. Return to sender. No one home. What's the? Have you got a souvenir of any kind? I thought that this was underarm bowling. I thought, how an easy a question is this? Everybody's got a souvenir of something. I have a souvenir of Ian Dury.
I've got
Were you eating something?
Yeah, you knew I was.
I had no idea. What are you eating?
Salad.
Salad.
Peppery. I have got
a pepper salad.
I've got a souvenir of a coin from Charles and Diana's marriage in 1981. It's a souvenir.
Well, I suppose it is, yeah.
Well, it is. It's a souvenir coin.
Yeah, of Charles and Diana's marriage. I remember the day well. It was as though London had... it was like the neutron bomb went off and all of the streets were completely deserted. I was walking down London's fashionable West End. I think it was Bond Street. And I was walking down the middle of the road because there was no traffic. I remember thinking, this is a bit strange. This is like one of those films that you see when it's the end of the world and you're the only person that's still left alive. I've never seen the like since. But it's sort of like a Christmas Day feeling in the middle of the summer. So this is the story in in the presence of complete underwhelming response. I'll continue. When the Olympics began a year ago today, the country was awash with tat, from stamps to postage to one-eyed mascots, and within 12 months the value of this memorabilia has shot up. And then they go on to list what you may get today if you had bought and kept some of this old stuff from a year ago. Some of it's shot up. So, and I can't believe that nobody is... well, I can actually believe it, but I'll continue because maybe this microphone isn't on. Hello? Is this on? Souvenirs, your most extraordinary, valued, or otherwise souvenirs. 0845 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nica@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @lbc973. It's always the same, taken over from a show that doesn't take calls for the last hour. People just aren't in the mode of calling in. It always takes, I'd say, at least an hour to get through to people that it's a phone-in again. I shall persist. Hey, Doc. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Okay.
Well, I just thought you'd like to know, and it's strange because it was on the table in front of me as you was talking, and when Amanda said to you she's got a coin about Charles and Diana's marriage. I've got a farthing on the table in front of me that I've had from the age when I was about 7, and it's dated 1939, the year I was born.
What's a farthing look like?
Well, it's about as big as an old half a p. Well, a more recent half a p. Little tiny thing with a robin on the back and King George VI's head on the front.
I was face to face with an old penny recently in the Victoria and Albert Museum, and I can't believe how huge they used to be.
Oh yeah, yeah, pennies. I've got quite a few pennies. I had a load a few years ago that were prior to, they were like 1890s and what have you, in 1902. I'm going back about 40 odd years.
Why on earth did they make them so big?
But then,
something of such small monetary value, 1 penny, was it was about the size of a manhole cover.
That's right, yeah. But the thing was that I had these pennies, and I used to have them in a tin, and me and my first wife were living with the mother-in-law, and I come home one day, and all my pennies had gone. She took them to get a packet of fags because she's got no money.
Well, see, if you bought a packet of fags with pennies these days, you need a wheelbarrow to transport them to the store.
You want more than a wheelbarrow to have the farthings.
Well, keep a hold of it, Brian. It might be something to pass on to the next generation, and when they get to be your age, then it might be worth something.
That's right, yeah.
All right, good man. Thanks a lot.
Okay, God bless.
Ta-da. 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's at lbc973. I have my costume from the opening ceremony. What's that worth? Well, it depends which one it is. I have a souvenir of a snow dome from New York with the Twin Towers in it, says Caro. Well, that's... yes, it's... I'm not sure people would actually spend a lot of money on that, but it's a conversation piece. Let's put it that way. Tunbridge Wells. Hello, Mark.
Good evening, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good, good. In 1999, I moved into a flat, and on the day that I moved in, I went down to a second-hand shop where there was this colour telly. I said to the guy... I said, how long will it take to deliver it? He said, oh, why is it such a rush? I said, can you get it to my house by a certain time? I was thinking about 3:15 in the afternoon. And he said, yeah, I can do that. And he got it there, and he said, what was the big rush? I said, I was back to the horse. I said, to pay for the telly. The telly was £60. I said, I put £10 on a horse called Housemaster that was running in the Chester Vase. It was the trial for the Derby. And I got back, sat, watched it. The horse absolutely walked the race. I'd taken 8-1, so it was £80 back. And there was a steward's inquiry, which meant that as it pulled out to go for its run, it interfered with another horse. And it would have won the race, and if nobody had said anything. But Bruff Scott, it was Channel 4 Racing, and Bruff Scott went on and on and on and on, saying, oh, that's disgusting, that's terrible, and that jockey, and what he did. And by the time I got down to the bookies, the steward's inquiry said they threw out the winner, which was Housemaster. So
I am outraged. Bruff Scott nicked your TV.
Yeah, but how about this? I kept the betting slip, got it wrapped up on a piece of paper ever since, and I sit and look at it. I wrote to Channel 4 Racing and said, can you tell Bruff Scott that I'm, what did I say? I said, I'm 6'3", I'm 23 stone, I'd love to have been a jockey. I said, but I'm too big. I said, I live vicariously through these people. I said, why doesn't he shut his mouth? And then within weeks he stopped broadcasting on Channel 4 Racing.
Wow, it's your fault. Okay. All right, well, keep up the bad work, Mark. Thanks for the news. 0845 6060 973. Nick Abbott, LBC 97.3.
Thank you for holding. Your call is important to us.
Yes, I'll go to a variety of destinations in just 1 minute. Let me read some texts and emails first. On the subject of souvenirs, this says, I have a blue-stoned brooch bought on the QE2 during her maiden voyage, given to me by an old lady. Hey, it wasn't that old lady who threw the stone off the prow of the Titanic thing, was it? That was her, was it? Right. Hello, Nick, I have a pristine £1 note. A pristine £1 note. Ryan says, my Paralympic torch is my priceless possession because I ran with it. Well, I'll give you 150 grand. Not so priceless anymore, is it? And finally, for the moment, I've got some Steve Allen badges and keyrings. Are they valuable souvenirs or just tat? I don't know. What would you say, Amanda?
It depends who you ask.
Yeah.
If you ask Steve Allen, I'm pretty sure he said they're valuable souvenirs.
Right. No, I'm sure that if you were Steve Allen, you wouldn't have souvenirs of yourself. You would consider them tat. Other people who are acolytes of Steve might think that they're extremely valuable and they should
Would
keep
you
them.
think a keyring of you
Of me?
was tat?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I rest my case. Whatever it is I just said. Finchley. Hello, Mariam.
Oh, good evening, Nick. Nice to hear you. The souvenir I have was brought back by my father in the First World War. He was a young man called up when he was 18 from a very sort of rural area of Devon. And he brought back, not married at the time, of course, 2 little silk handkerchiefs, which I've got in front of me now as I'm talking to you, with Souvenir de France on both of them, and roses embroidered, and little lace edging. And later on, when my sister and I were born, he later gave them to us, one each.
That sounds like the sort of thing the V&A would be interested in.
Well, I don't think so, but you know, they're falling apart now. But they are, you know, very precious because obviously my poor father, he wasn't wounded or anything. He came through the war unscathed, but he saw awful scenes. He finished up as a sergeant, and like all the men who fought in the First World War in the trenches, it was a horrible experience for a young man.
Well, that's what war's like. Yeah.
But these souvenirs are, you know, very precious. I've got them in front of me now. I have them wrapped in tissue paper.
Yeah, don't put them through a hot wash. Thanks a lot, Mariam.
All right.
By the way, on the subject of war, a great-grandson of Sir Winston Churchill is among a group of former British Army officers who were trying to save an interpreter they worked with from being deported back to Afghanistan. They're part of a larger group, including serving officers, who believe that the Ministry of Defence is betraying Afghan interpreters and have begun offering the men financial, legal and moral support themselves. This is Army officers. There's one who is 26 who is facing a final deportation hearing on Tuesday from an immigration camp in Aschaffenburg in Germany. His father and brother were killed by the Taliban because of his service with the British forces. And the MOD says, thanks very much for your efforts, you're fired. Alexander Perkins, a former officer in the Scots Guards, whose great-grandfather was Britain's wartime leader, Churchill, said he believed that Churchill would have supported the interpreters. Well, he was a different kind of man. Another former officer, Major James Driscoll from the Princess of Wales Royal Regiment, has helped to find Mr. Shams. This is the 26-year-old Afghan interpreter. He's found Mr. Shams a lawyer in Britain to support his case. This is a former officer funding a man who risked his life to be an interpreter for the British Army. He says, based on the core values we learnt as soldiers, such as loyalty and respect for others and selfless commitment, we believe that this 26-year-old interpreter and the other interpreters that fall foul of the current MOD policy deserve better. He says, as former and serving officers or soldiers, we will continue to help these interpreters as best we can by providing money, legal help, and trying to keep their morale up. We will do this as we know that it is morally the right thing to do. We just wish that the government realised it too. Another former officer said it's the shaving test. Can you look yourself in the eye, in the mirror in the morning and say, have I done the right thing? In this case, the MOD can't. I bet they can't remember the last time they did the right thing. At least 2 other interpreters are seeking asylum and receiving financial and other help from Helmand veterans. This is including serving soldiers. The intervention could embarrass the government, which has withheld the offer of asylum from Afghan interpreters who left British service before December 2012. It's not a happy story, but they're nothing to do with the Ministry of Defence is. Don't join the army. They don't care about you. Here's a call in South Norwood. Hello, Philip.
souvenirs. About 25 years ago, I was in Florida and I went to Universal Studios. And I saw a stand and it said, you can make your own music video.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I thought, I won't game for anything. So what it was, you went in there and first of all, you put a track onto an audio cassette. And then they took you into another room and they made a music video for you. And they said, you can call yourself anything you want, you can sing, you know, they had a library of songs to choose from, you see.
Yeah. You did something with, let me guess, Elvis.
No, I'm a big country and western fan, you see. So what I decided to do, I decided to sing a country and western song called Rocky Top. And they said to me, you can call yourself whatever you want. So I thought, now, what is a sort of country and western name? So I chose the name Ronnie Cannon, you see. So anyway, I recorded it, and they gave it to me, and it was, you know, I brought it home, stuck it in a drawer, and we brought it out at Christmas, you know.
Keep it in the drawer, Philip. It's the best place for it.
No, it gets better. Anyway, it was in the... And then a couple of years ago, a relative of mine said, I'm going to stick it on YouTube. Yeah. I said, what? So, I mean, I didn't really know at that time what YouTube was.
Yeah.
So I lent him the video, and the next thing I know, it's up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Ronnie Cannon Sings.
And you're the new YouTube sensation.
Oh, well, in 3 years, Nick, since it's been up there, how many hits do you think it's had?
1.
No.
6.
No.
Is it 12?
It's 1,560.
Right.
So I don't know who these people are.
It's you. You've watched it 1,560 times.
No, I check it out occasionally.
Exactly. That's exactly what I just said.
No.
You check it out on the hour, every hour.
No. It's just that, you know, to be truthful, Nick, I'm quite proud of it because it's funny. It's not meant to be taken seriously. And I had one person told me, they said it was the funniest country and western song they'd ever seen. Which, I mean,
it'd be the only funny country and western song. They deal in suicide and misery and divorce.
Oh no, there's some great country songs, that make you laugh, and I mean, do you ever listen to country and western music? Do you like country and western?
Well, yeah, but it's incredibly depressing. Divorce Unhappy.
Oh no, there's loads of them. I'll tell you a very good country and western singer. He's a comedian, a bloke called Jeff Foxworthy. Have you ever heard of him?
No, I have not.
Oh, you want to put him into YouTube. And also, Nick, on other visits to America, I brought back badges of the president. You know, at the time I've been there, they've had these big badges, of the candidates that are standing.
Yes.
And I've got one in front of me.
Nixon.
Back. Nixon and Agnew.
You've got Nixon?
Yeah, Nixon and Spyro Ted Agnew. Do you remember old Spyro?
I would quite like one of those. I mean, Nixon's the one that you really, really want.
Yeah, is it? Oh, it's quite a big badge, actually. They're smiling.
Yeah.
and also, I've got another one.
He's smiling because he knows something that you didn't know at that time. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. And I think even Agnew went, didn't he, while he was in power. They moved him out, I think, if I'm correctly.
I think of all the presidential badges that I would want, that would be the one that I would want... Because you would wear it like sarcastically. I mean, if you had a JFK badge, then that just rather implies that you like JFK, that you also had a dream. But,
I mean,
but Nixon, that would be amusing. I would like that. Stick it in the post, Philip.
Oh, well, as I say, I'd also got one with a woman on the front. Do you remember when there was a woman standing for the vice presidency? Geraldine Ferraro.
Yeah, Ferraro, yeah.
Yes. I've got her as well, and it says, now, 1984.
I quite like one with George Bush's dopey smiling face on it.
Absolutely.
I haven't got George Bush, but there is another one with, can't think of the guy's name, I haven't got it with me at the moment.
Is it Barack Obama?
No, it was Dukakis. Do you remember, he's Olympia's brother? Yeah.
Dukakis.
Dukakis, that's it. Yeah, and a guy called Benson, he was his running mate. But, as I say, I only got 3, But I'll tell you what, Nick, I might give it to you for Christmas.
Okay, well, that's something to look forward to. Thanks a lot,
Yeah,
Philip.
okay.
Cheers, mate. Ta-da. 0845 6060 973. Oh, by the way, the country is rudderless. Have you noticed? We don't have any leaders anymore. No one is running the country. Because they've all gone on their jolly holidays. And guess how they got to where they're going? Not in the manner to which they would like to become accustomed, I bet. I'll come to that in just a minute. But the background hum of the programme is souvenirs. On the anniversary of the Olympic Games, the souvenirs from those games have shot up in price, according to the Times. And so that's what I'm asking. What is your most valued or extraordinary souvenir? 0845 6060 973. Nick Abbott, LBC 97.3. You can text 84850, email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's at LBC973. This says, I have a souvenir from my son's birth 26 years ago. I kept his... What? I don't think I want to read this. Huh?
Oh, go on, it's good.
It's horrible.
It's not horrible, it's lovely.
It's awful. Not lovely. I have a souvenir from my son's birth 26 years ago. 26 years ago, eh? It says, I kept his belly button. How can you keep someone's belly button?
It's the umbilical cord, isn't it? Obviously.
I kept his belly button, and over time it shrank, went rock hard, and very shiny. Shiny, shiny, shiny bits of belly. It's about the size of a large pea, and is kind of an opaque marbled amber. Oh no, it just got worse. You really don't want me to read this next bit. I had it made into a pendant which I wear around my neck. What? I can't believe I just read that. So says Fiona in Norwood. Oh, well, Norwood should have said. I kept my son's belly button. That's the worst thing I've ever heard. I am stunned. There's a call in Hammersmith. Lovain.
Hello, Nick.
Lovain.
I was listening to your programme, which I do every night. But listen, about 25 years ago, I bought some books from a charity shop. And one of them, when I came home, I thought, that feels heavy. And then when I got to the back, there was this sellotape, and it had gone yellow. So I took it off, and inside it was a Shakespearean medal, one of the medallions. And I didn't take a lot of notice. I just threw it in the drawer. And then tonight I was listening to your programme, and I thought, oh, my God, let me go and ring and see if he knows anything about it. And it's one of the Shakespearean plays. There were 38 of them, wasn't it?
It's a medal.
Yeah, it's a medallion. R.S. Shakespeare medals. It's one from 38 of the 38 plays that were made. The Tudor roses on it, and it was engraved by, where's his name here? Oh, gosh. John Pinches. And it's 38, and the one I have is called Carry a Little, This Band Does Not Give Thee a Jot of Blood. That's one of the plays. And then I've got a write-up here, which I got done, and I got all the names of the rest of them.
I don't really know what it is that you're describing. So it was a medal that was given out for what reason? I don't really know.
One of the Shakespearean plays that were done, there were 38 of them.
Yeah, but why would they give a medal out?
No, I don't know, but there were 38. They were giving them out to so people, for each play that they made, there was these sterling silver and all engraved with the initial John Pinches on it and the number and all, etc. And I just wondered if you'd heard about them.
No, I'm afraid not. No, I don't read ordinary books. Never mind about Shakespeare.
Yeah, but it said when I went online that the rate, the money rate for it is from £800 up
Oh, well, I think you should post it to me immediately, and I'll cast my eye over it.
Yeah, but it says it gives you a thing here to post it off to somebody, but they say...
No, post it directly to me.
To you, all right.
No, don't do that.
No, I know you're joking.
All right.
But anyway, he says here that you send it off, but at your own risk, £8 insurance.
Yeah, I'm
but
not
I
sure
don't know
about
whether
that.
to send it off or not.
It doesn't sound like a very good idea.
No. Anyway,
there must be some sort of like coin expert that you can go and see. I mean, London must be absolutely full of them.
Yes.
Take it in by hand, Lovain.
Yes, that's better, isn't it?
Don't trust it to the post.
No, I wouldn't do that. But I heard you. It was the first time I brought that out in all them years. Is when I heard your program tonight.
Huh.
Yeah, but thanks for
Well, the power of this show, eh?
Yeah, I always listen to you.
People go rooting through their knickknacks just because they heard it on this show.
Yeah, no, I remember when they were all ringing about farthings and all. I have all them here because I'm 73, so I have all that sort of thing.
So you go one louder than a farthing.
Pardon?
You've done very well.
Yeah,
and I wish you all the best with it, Lovain. 0845 6060 973. Like I said before, the leaders have gone. They're off. They're off on their holidays. The leaders of Britain's three main political parties have all used budget airlines to go on their summer holidays. David Cameron boarded an EasyJet flight to Faro in Portugal at 8 in the morning on Thursday with his wife Samantha and their three children. Nick Clegg, the Deputy Prime Minister, flew to Spain earlier this week with his family, while Ed Miliband, the Labour leader, took an EasyJet flight to the south of France. Their choice of airline reflects their desire not to be seen as out of touch, while families across Britain are struggling. They didn't choose the airline. They have clouds of bespectacled advisers who told them all to do that. There's a sympathy race on to show which of the leaders can pretend to share the experience of the common man. I mean, did any of them sit alongside strangers on the plane?
No.
Did any of them have to queue to get on board?
No.
Did any of them get charged extra for baggage? Or get told that they can't take their hand luggage on the plane just because it did not conform to the rules?
No.
If they really were interested in putting themselves in the shoes of the average man, they might like to take half a dozen fewer holidays a year and empty their bank accounts of all its contents. Just a thought. Both Clegg and Cameron are taking their second holiday this year. In April, Clegg took a ski break in Davos in Switzerland, while a month later Cameron went on holiday to... Where in the world do you think he'd be less likely to fit in? That's right, Ibiza.
Groovy.
Cameron went to Ibiza. MPs began their long summer break about a week ago and are not due back in Westminster till the beginning of September. That's how long they're going to be away. We'll be a rudderless ship till then, and I bet we won't notice their absence one iota. Apart from there'll be a little less news to report. Despite the 6-week recess, Cameron and Clegg have both gone on holiday at the same time. They were also unable to coordinate their holiday plans last year. It's almost as though they just don't care. It's almost as though that they're not really interested in disseminating the idea that we can't get by without them. That seems ludicrous. That two people that are supposed to be running the country can both be so relaxed about it, to both leave the country at the same time. I mean, you would think that, even if we can get by without them, they would like to make it appear as though that we can't. That at least one of their pairs of hands will be on the tiller. Make a pretense that one of them needs to be here and in charge all the time. But now they don't seem remotely concerned. They're both up sticks and left at the same time. I mean, do they even talk to each other? Clegg is also on holiday in France this summer. He's going to be on holiday in France this summer on his return from Spain. Nick Clegg will get back from Spain and go to France. And the Camerons will get back from wherever it is that they've gone. Where do they go? Right at the beginning of their story. Faro in Portugal. And they're going to take a break in Cornwall. And then a break in Scotland. Struth, what a lifestyle. Which rather makes a mockery of all that we feel your pain budget airline nonsense. I mean, if they've already taken 2 holidays this year to this point, and they're going off on another 3 before the summer's out, yeah, they don't feel my pain. Mr. Clegg suggested earlier this month that Theresa May, the Home Secretary, and William Hague, the Foreign Secretary, are going to take charge of Britain in the absence of him and Cameron.
Oh, no.
We're doomed. So their experience of flying on a budget airline does not match anybody else's, I bet, unless you're very, very lucky indeed. Or perhaps you own the airline. I bet people were laying out the red carpet and fluffing up their cushions, and they couldn't do enough for them. And would you like another free drink? And would you like to visit the toilet? Complimentary. It's on us, so to speak. So, having not flown on a budget airline for a very long time, I wonder if their reputation if their reputations are deserved. 0845 6060 973. We'll put that alongside what we're talking about at the moment, which is going to be continued with this call in Ashford. Hello, Doreen.
Hello, Nick. I nearly fell asleep waiting for you. Listen,
are you all right, Doreen?
Pardon?
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Caffeinated coffee, I recommend.
No, I've never drank coffee ever. Well, once.
Well, you should.
Just
once.
Just to decide that I didn't like it. I only drink water, but don't worry about that. You want souvenirs, yeah?
Yes.
Well, I've got 10 beautiful magazines depicting Queen Victoria, from the first one from when she became Queen, right up until her 60th year of reign. They're all silk paper. The building that was done in her era is unbelievable.
Silk paper, a magazine.
They're magazines, and they're beautifully silk paper, well, silkish paper. And
so this wasn't a newspaper supplement?
No. These were magazines bought out fortnightly, 6pence each at the time.
What were they called?
Well, Queen Victoria's reign.
Oh, it was one of these collecting, like many to collect, start now, that sort of thing.
Well, presumably, but on the front it was all done by an MP at the time. Marshall, I know, is one of them. But I haven't looked at them for quite a while. But they brought out 8 for a 50th reign, and then it was popular, so they brought out another 2 to mark the next, 10 years, 60 years, and I've got all of them. And I took them, I had loads of books, always used to collect things on Queen Victoria. So I took them to the Abbot and Victoria Museum.
Mm-hmm.
They bought, this is years ago, mine.
Yeah.
They bought 2 books off me.
Did they?
But they said they couldn't afford the magazine.
What?
Honestly.
What, did they give you an idea of how much they were worth?
No, I've got a letter, saying that, and there was an exhibition also at the Victoria and Albert, and I went to it, and I complained that these magazines were not on show.
Yeah.
Or 2 or 3
Well,
of them.
the stuff that they've got in that place that's not on show, I think there's more that is down in the vaults than there's actually in cases.
They said they weren't aware of them, and had they been, I've got the letter still, had they been aware of them, they would certainly have asked me if they could have loaned them.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Huh.
God knows. I rang the...
You've got something that the V&A can't afford.
Yeah.
Increase your insurance, Doreen.
Pardon?
You want to get onto your insurer and increase your cover immediately.
Oh, I haven't got any cover for anything.
Right, well, lock the doors and the windows.
I've also got every coin that imaginable since 1971 when we went, decimal. Got every set of coins that was produced since then. Got Winston Churchill coins, the Queen Mother's
This is the richest person I've ever spoken to. If only you knew, Doreen.
Well, I don't know what to do with them.
Well, stick them in the bank. Stick them in the bank vault straight away. No, in fact, cancel that. Don't put them in the bank. They won't be safe there. Under the bed, perhaps. In a shoebox. Keep them on your person at all times.
On FM, online and digital radio, this
You're wondering what it's all about, and I can't tell you because I don't know myself.
I'll hazard a guess. It's about souvenirs. 084 and budget airlines. Do they deserve their poor reputation? 0845 6060 973. People are furious because Jane Austen is going to be on a note. I'm mystified by that. The stuff that gets people riled. I don't get it. This message says, I have autographed photographs of Christopher Lee, Jane Fonda, Richard Attenborough and Nick Abbott. What? I don't have a signed photograph of me. I think there's a name that's sticking out on that list somewhat. Have mug and book from Queen's coronation. Loads of old pennies, 10 shillings, pound notes, says Sharon in Benfleet. I don't think any of that old money is going to be worth anything. I mean, people do keep a hold of it because they think, oh, well, I haven't seen one of these in a long time. But there must be millions of them still left in drawers up and down the land. It is nice to see an old coin. I would like to be reacquainted with a sixpence or a threepenny bit. And seeing an old penny in, like, face-to-face, just as I did the other day, it was quite shocking at how huge those things used to be. Pockets must have been constructed much more robustly than they are today. They don't make them like that anymore. Liverpool. Hello, Linda. Oh, Linda. Linda will be with us in just a second when she realises there's a delay, and she'll be rushing to the phone and turning down her radio at the same time. She'll be multitasking. Or not, as the case may be. Linda!
Oh, hello, Nick.
Linda.
How are you?
I'm waiting.
I'm trying to put on my best voice because I know you have trouble understanding the Liverpool accent.
No, I don't.
Interestingly, Nick, before I get on to what I want to talk about...
What, this...
You know,
this is the preamble to your call.
No, I don't want to keep you on too long because I know you get rather annoyed with me. But interestingly, as a sort of an amateur psychiatrist, the privileged class, which I now consider the MPs to be, want to fly budget airlines.
No, they don't want to fly. Their advisors have told them that it would be a good idea if they did.
Well, OK.
They'd much rather hire private jets than they don't have to rub shoulders with us at all.
OK. Semantics. I used the wrong word. They are flying budget airlines.
Yes.
Now, interestingly, the poor people I know hate them. And given half the chance,
Are you
they
talking about
would
the
never
politicians?
go near Ryanair or EasyJet again.
Well, that's not true, because they're one of the few airline companies on Earth that's actually making money, the budget airlines.
Yes, they're making money because the majority of people are forced to fly with them, if indeed they want to fly at all. I mean, they want to fly, and they fly with budget airlines because it's the only way to fly. What I find fascinating is the very people that don't have to endure the indignity of flying with Ryanair or EasyJet or Monarch are the people that are choosing to fly with them.
Well,
Don't
like
you
I
find
said,
that's a bit of a dichotomy, Nick?
it's a stunt. It's a political stunt that our leaders, millionaires, so they are flying with budget airlines. They're trying to make it appear as though they are one of us, which they aren't.
And they act like peasants in the full knowledge. When they come home from their peasant trip, they can perceive themselves to be one of the people.
But they're not.
No, I know they're not.
You know, other countries, politicians, they don't bother with any of this. I mean, I bet French politicians don't go anywhere on budget airlines. They'll have private jets to whisk them hither, thither, and yon.
Well, my daughter's married to a Spanish fellow who happens to know something about and flies on occasions. And actually, their politicians do actually fly with the people. That there's no sort of pretense about it. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about, Nick, far more exciting. I met Bob Crow today.
You met Bob Crow.
Absolutely. I
And?
thought you'd be interested. Riveting.
What was the circumstance of your meeting?
Well, it was sort of push myself in a bit, as you have to do on these occasions. Because it's not every day we get a Londoner coming up and somebody of Bob Crow's status, socialist,
stature,
way-ho,
size,
coming to Liverpool.
And?
The reason he was here was to support our Labour Party in the continuous fight to have the bedroom tax abolished. Basically, that's why he was here.
Right.
I suppose you've heard of the bedroom tax.
Yeah, and so you pushed yourself to the front and you said, hi, Bob, and what happened?
No. I didn't have to push myself to the front.
You said that you did.
As a well-known socialist in my hometown, I have connections. And all I could think of to say to him, to make some sort of connection...
Yeah. Was?
I listened to LBC, Bob.
What's that got to do with Bob Crow?
Well, I thought he'd connect because I've heard him on LBC.
Yeah. And what did he say to that?
It's like you coming here, me introducing you to rather amateur presenters of our local radio
Yeah, and
station.
saying that this guy knows...
I know him.
Right.
A bit of... I know that radio
and so what did he say?
Well, he said, you're at a socialist rally. Why would you be listening to LBC?
Well, you're not listening to them at the socialist rally. I mean, you're allowed to be a socialist and be entertained by organisations that sell ads and make money.
Well, he said, and who in particular do you listen to?
Yeah, and you said
on LBC. Well, rather long, boring conversation.
Well, who did you say that you listened to?
You, of course,
yeah,
my favourite.
And he said?
And he said...
Who's he?
He's asleep by that time.
Yeah, me too.
And,
Bob Crow's asleep by 10. I seriously doubt that.
Maybe he's on private parties or functions at the weekend when you're on, Nick. But he's definitely not a fan of Nick Ferrari. Definitely. And James Max didn't come much... Not much better.
Right. But he loves me, and it's official. You see, I've always wanted a Bob Crow stuffed toy. I think that would be an excellent gift for Christmas for the kids. Don't you, Linda?
Well,
yes.
It depends what they're going to do with it once they get it.
Well, they'll cuddle it and love it and, make it their own. Yes.
Anyway, it was quite interesting.
Not very, just quite.
Well... Socialism, Nick, has become a dirty word. I think the ignorant assume a socialist...
Socialism has failed everywhere it's ever been tried. It doesn't work. It's not in our nature to share.
Well, why should it not be? I think...
Well, because the human race has become so successful, we've spread over the planet like a virus because of our greed and our desperation to get more and better and further.
Right, comes on to my point now, which I suggested to Bob. You know this recent debacle with all the government privatisation of G4, the tagging of people that didn't exist, and millions of pounds in private contracts.
The privatisation of G4... Well, I know what you mean. That part's not accurate.
Privatisation of everything, in effect. I want to, and as I said to Bob, can't we tag the MPs? Can't we tag them? And then we'd know where they are.
Yeah, where they are and what they're doing.
At what time, and all the rest of it. We'd also know how much money they're spending. No one seems to be in favour of that, Nick.
Well, you, me, and everyone listening to this show, I bet. Hands up everyone who wants to tag MPs. And hands up who don't. It's overwhelming. OK, good work, Linda. 0845 6060 973. It's talking of spying, by the way. Institutions have been spying. Not just newspaper institutions, but it seems like you'd be hard-pressed to find one that hasn't. I'll come to the excruciating, awful details of that in just 1 minute. But your tales of souvenirs, your most valued or extraordinary souvenirs, on 0845 6060 973 and whether budget airlines deserve their poor reputation. Nick Abbott, LBC 97.3.
LBC 97.3.
People watching over breakfast.
What number are you calling from?
0845 6060 973. You remember the furore? Well, it hasn't really died down yet. Nobody that I know has gone to jail yet. No big names have actually been put inside from the press spying on us in their various nefarious ways. Well, it's worse than that. Much, much worse. Global banks and big city institutions paid corrupt private detectives to carry out spying missions in Britain in the run-up to the financial crisis. This is what they were thinking of. International banking institutions dominate a list of 102 companies and named individuals who hired private investigators engaged in hacking, blagging, and stealing private information. What's blagging if it's not hacking and stealing? Is there a differentiation between hacking and blagging? The revelations are a further blow to the reputation of the finance sector, mired in a string of embarrassing scandals. But that's okay, because their reputation can be resuscitated by putting cute, cuddly cartoon characters in all their TV adverts, like they do. It's not a coincidence. This list, which was compiled by the Serious Organised Crime Agency, also is said to contain the name of a person so famous, this is a quote, "You'd have to live down a rabbit hole in the Arctic not to have heard of them." Well, who do we think that might be? Somebody incredibly famous. Now, there really is only maybe 10 people that would fit that description in this country. About 10 people who you would have to be living on the moon not to have heard of, who has paid investigators engaged in hacking and blagging and stealing private information. Who might that be? Amanda. Have a wild stab in the dark. Guess.
I'm probably going to guess during the news.
Yeah, don't do it on the air. But I have a pretty good idea of who it might be. Huh?
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Well, I have a pretty good idea of... Well, I can nail it down to about 3 or 4 people. 3 or 4 disreputable people who are really, really famous. In addition, at least one of the companies which appears in the list appears on the FTSE 100, the stock exchange list of top companies in Britain. I bet most of them are at it. This list was compiled by SOCA, the Serious Organised Crime Agency, as early as 2008. They've known about all this since 2008. And what did they do? Sit in their hands and pretend it wasn't happening when the press were getting grilled about this exact same thing? So they've known about it since 2008, just as the global banking crisis gained pace, leading to multi-billion-pound state bailouts of banks in the UK and elsewhere, and ultimately the collapse of the world economy. And while all that was happening, they were spying on us. But no police investigation has been conducted into the reckless lending at the heart of the financial crisis. Bankers have also emerged largely unscathed from subsequent scandals, such as the fixing of the LIBOR rate. How have they got away with it? This week, pressure has been heaped on the police for their failure to pursue those who have commissioned private eyes to snoop on their behalf. Well, some of the police have been doing the exact same thing. I think that you and me, Amanda, are the only people who are not spying and snooping and hacking and blagging. We should congratulate ourselves.
Well, I mean...
Oh, you too?
A little bit.
Oh, blimey. SOCA is insisting that the list of 102 names remains secret on the grounds that it could damage both the commercial reputations and human rights of the companies and individuals involved. Oh, please. It's the doing it that's damaged their reputation, not us finding out about it. I am stunned. I am stunned. Is there anything else that is going to come out to disabuse us of the notion that the pillars of this society are all rotten to the core? You know, if you, dear listener, committed a crime, you too will be protected from prosecution in case it taints you with criminality. Of course you won't. Just the very notion is ridiculous. Or how about if it breaches your human rights? No, so it's only banks that get out of jail free cards. Again, they've got an unlimited resource. Yesterday it was reported that the Met Police will also seek to block the release of the list, which was finally handed to the Home Affairs Select Committee on Tuesday and is locked in a Westminster safe, in case anybody sees it. Committee Chairman Keith Vaz has written to the committee's other MPs to ask for their views on whether they should defy SOCA, the Serious Organised Crime Agency, and expose those allegedly involved with jailed private detectives. Well, isn't that priceless? They jail the private detectives, but not the people what hired the private detectives. But, we're all in this together and blah, blah, blah. I mean, just think about that for a second. If what the private detectives did is a jailable offence, then hiring them to do that offence is surely a jailable offence. But apparently not. The people what did the hiring, they get off scot-free. No decision on whether to publish the names is likely until Parliament returns from its summer recess in September, when they hope that we'll all have forgotten about it. Do it, Keith. Do it for us. Do it for humankind. He's not going to do it, is he? Well, we'll find out. Here's calling Vauxhall. Hello, Mark.
Yeah, hi, good evening. How you doing?
Mark.
Interesting what you've just said, actually. Because apparently I thought it was everyone on benefits and immigrants that got us into this situation. So it was interesting what you just said.
Apparently not.
But also, just coming from your earlier caller, I want to talk about holidays, but, capitalism has failed. Because clearly, when you get to the position where you've got to print money and bail banks out,
yes,
because when one of my local businesses shuts, it shuts. No one's going there and bailing them out. So clearly, capitalism has failed.
Well, capitalism, in the way that it has become distorted, has failed, because it's not capitalism anymore. It seems to be
neoliberal free market at all costs.
Yes.
But it's not a free market because we have subsidies, we have trade agreements.
It's a rigged market.
It's a rigged market indeed. But holidays, yes, lovely to have a few, wouldn't it? Really. The trouble is that this I was going to call him a parasite, but I quite like fleas, so I won't. This guy is so dislocated.
Who? What guy?
Cameron is so dislocated from normal working class people that he actually thinks that an EasyJet is the way forward.
Yeah.
I mean, how absolutely out of touch.
Well, I'm sure that he didn't have any part in choosing the airline, because he
didn't know the airline existed
probably
before
not,
he was elected.
Yeah. He just needed to go to Portugal, to Faro, which is where he has ended up on this particular holiday, after the previous one and before the next two. I'm not making that up, by the way. He is taking two more holidays this summer before he gets back in September. Yeah. Because he works from probably at 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, with just a 3-hour break for lunch, and so he's got a lot of rest time due him.
Well, indeed. I mean, what else do toffs do?
But he doesn't choose the airline or have anything to do with choosing the airline. That must come from his advisors, and they would have thought about it a good long while. And shall we hire a jet to get him there securely and safely and immediately? We can afford it. No, they'll say, because it won't look good in the press. And so it's just a sop to us that they chose a budget airline.
Well, if I was on that flight, I'd want to get off for my own security, because I'm convinced someone would slap him, or God, it's overdue.
Well, it does make the plane a target, yes.
But no, he's clearly just as a multimillionaire, like so many of them, married up into money, completely dislocated from reality. And I can't believe that he could be there. I mean, no doubt there are people there on working tax credits poor people, God forbid. But I am glad one thing the Tories have done, which is get rid of unemployment, because now just everyone's a scroungler rather than unemployed. So we've got to give it to them for that, haven't we, really?
If you say so, Mark. Keep on keeping on. It's the only thing that's left. 0845 6060 973. Some texts and emails. This says, I have my original Little Red Book driving licence from 1970, says Chloe. That's when passing the test was a piece of cake. I remember it well. 1976. I almost exploded right there in the car when he told me that I'd passed my test. Apparently it's become much more difficult. Although it can't have done, because look at the chaos that's on the road. No one knows how to drive anymore, have you noticed? Or park. Nick, even the new coins aren't worth much, says Brian. Well, you've got a good point there, yeah. Never mind about the old coins not being worth much. Even the new coins aren't worth much. On the subject of souvenirs, Nick, I have a sad souvenir from 1915. It's a sepia-coloured tinted postcard that my grandfather sent my mother from France, where he was fighting. The card is written in pencil, dated March 1915. In May, he was killed in action. My mother was 22 months old, so sadly never saw her daddy. I so treasure that card, says Maddie, I bet. Nick, I have a souvenir newspaper of the funeral of President Hindenburg from 1934. His friend Adolf looks really sad. Not. I've got news about Adolf Hitler, by the way. News about Adolf Hitler that also pertains to Christo, whose show follows this. Does that pique your interest?
You've made a connection between Adolf Hitler and Christo.
Correct. There is a connection between Adolf Hitler and Christo.
I think you should wait till after 12 to say this, because then he'll be in the office.
I'm going to wait till just seconds before he takes over.
Even better.
To discombobulate him completely.
Is there more than one connection, or is it just one big connection?
Huge. Enormous.
Enormous?
Yes. I'm not making this up. There is a massive connection between Adolf Hitler himself and Christo, the presenter of the next show that starts at 1 o'clock.
And is it just particularly Christo or a group of people?
Well, no, let's just go ahead and say it's just specifically Christo.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
0845 6060 973. This says, I have a 1966 World Cup football final programme between England and West Germany. How did that match end up? I can't quite recall. It says, I was 17 at the time, and I was in the queue behind Kenny Lynch, a pop singer, going into the stadium to see England win the World Cup final. Kenny Lynch? He's not that old, is he? How old's Kenny? I thought Kenny Lynch was a comedian. Pop singer. Maybe they're confused. Maybe it's another Kenny. Kenny, I can't think of a Kenny who's a pop singer. Kenny Ball? Kenny Ball. Huh?
I think you're making it up now.
Kenny Ball and his Jazzmen. You can't remember them? I've got two people shaking their heads through the glass. You don't remember Kenny Ball and... huh?
We weren't born in 1966.
Well, I wasn't... I was...
You were born in 1966.
Yeah, but I was born after Mozart, but I still can remember his name.
Yeah, but I think he's a bit more famous than Kenny Ball and the JJ.
Well, not in my house he isn't. 0845 6060 97. This show is descending into acrimony. And it's all your fault. Nick Abbott, LBC 97.3, the time 11:30. The news with Zora Sullivan.
Hello.
So this spying thing just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Is there a single organisation on the planet that is not engaged in spying on us on virtually a 24-hour-a-day basis? So first of all, it was the newspaper business. And then we find out it's the police. And then we find out that it's the banks and financial organisations, and now law firms. Now, you'd think that law firms would have been able to avoid this, able to give this a swerve, because they are experts in the law.
Correct.
But apparently that means nothing to them. As many as 20 law firms and individual lawyers, or liars, are believed to appear on a list of 102 firms on the client list of private detectives who obtained illicit information by hacking, blagging and theft. MPs have now claimed that the scandal, which also involves insurers, pharmaceutical companies and high-profile businesses, is worse than the phone hacking by newspapers. And we haven't heard anything about it until just lately. Earlier this week, SOCA, the Serious Organised Crime Agency, handed the Commons Home Affairs Committee a list of those believed to have been involved, but have insisted that the information be kept secret to protect the guilty. They didn't say that, that's me saying it. To protect the guilty. Probably yes. That's the reason they gave. They can't tell us who these people are because we might think less of them. Try that as your defence next time you be for a judge and see how far you get. Ministers now fear that many more banks, drugs firms and users of private agents could be exposed. Priceless. Now, did you hear this, the formation of that sentence? They fear that these businesses might be exposed. Not that they fear that they may have done something illegal, but that they might be exposed for having done it. The Serious Organised Crime Agency bosses have come under increasing pressure to publish the report, originally compiled 6 years ago. I mean, just that fact alone is stunning. They've known about this for 6 years. This is the police that have known about this for 6 years. It's suspected they hold further details of allegations against other blue-chip corporations. Shall we just go ahead and assume that they're all at it? Before they handed the list over to the committee, the agency insisted that it was only doing so under the strict rules of confidentiality, which include that it be kept in a safe in a locked room within a secure building. Yeah, why not, like, buried in concrete, under a bridge? It be kept in a safe in a locked room within a secure building. That sounds like the sort of thing that David Blaine would try to escape from. However, Keith Vaz, the committee's chairman, questioned on whose authority the names were being kept secret. You go, Keith. These companies are not subject to current investigations, which could be undermined, or are not... No, let me get this right. This is important. The companies are not subject to current investigations, which could be undermined. And without a full explanation as to the reasoning, it's not surprising that people will be suspicious about motives, says Keith Vaz. Correctamundo, Keith. Suspicious is the first thing we are. Lawyers and law firms, banks and pharmaceutical companies feature heavily on the list, alongside private individuals and insurance firms. Very famous private individuals who should be in jail right now, depending on who they are. You know, unless they're funny, in which case we'll let them off. Soka claims that publishing the list could cause the firms and individuals commercial damage and breach their human rights. It doesn't matter how many times I read that, it's still funny. They can't tell us who is the guilty parties because we might think that they're guilty. And how can you breach a corporation's human rights? Corporations are humans too? Makes no sense. But then nothing makes any sense to me anymore. How about you, Amanda?
Hardly ever.
You're holding your head in your hands. What's the matter, dear? Headache? Tense, nervous headache?
All of it.
My nose is a bit stuffy. I'm all stuffed up. I'm starting to talk like Ed Bilderberg.
I thought we were just talking about me. And then the conversation just very quickly shifted over to your nose.
Well, I'm sorry if this sounds selfish, darling, but it's me.
I don't think you are sorry.
He's calling Southwark. Hello, Luana.
Hi there.
Luana.
I've got an accidental souvenir.
Accidental
I hope you won't. Yeah, I hope you won't sneer at me when I tell you about it. You might not find it terribly exciting, but I just thought it sounded so sexist. I really needed to tell you about this.
An accidental souvenir.
Yeah. My a very close relative of mine died recently, and he's kind of, he was 86. So he has lots of paraphernalia from the 70s. And he had a little recording that I made for him, a sort of shout-out by David Hamilton. And then I discovered that preceding this shout-out is an advertisement for Gloria Hunniford, the BBC. It says, I can't play it to you because apparently it's your rival, so I'm not allowed to play it. But it starts off by saying, the BBC are putting women on the radio. And this lunchtime, she's our lunchtime lovey, voluptuous, curvaceous, brains too.
Really?
Yes, darling, it is true. Me, Gloria Hunniford. And then it ends with the man coming on going, yes, she has 2 brains.
2 brains?
Yes. Yeah, he's kind of insinuating that she's got 2 brains.
How things have changed, eh?
I know. I mean, I just thought if you heard this, you'd just crack up. It was just so funny. I completely forgot about my
Don't worry, listeners. There's nothing wrong with your radio. It's just a woman.
I mean, Gloria Hunniford must have been 20-something at the time, you know, and this voice, she's it's like a pastiche, you know. It's just so funny.
Well, that was the 70s for you.
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely. I'm finding lots of wonderful souvenirs from the 70s. He was a die-hard Thatcher fan. I mean, there is just like photos and manifestos. I mean, and those puppets. You remember that puppet show?
Yes.
The
Spitting
what's it
image.
called now?
Spitting image. Yeah.
He's got a spitting image of Margaret Thatcher and.
Wait a minute. He has a spitting image doll of Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
What, an actual the one that they used on the television program?
I don't know if I don't think it's one that they used. I think it's a copy, you know, that they probably sold at the time. But he has Margaret Thatcher and what's the name of the man who rides the bike? Who said get on your bike?
Norman Tebbit.
Norman Tebbit.
Yeah.
And Michael Heseltine. And
If you got the original spitting image of all of those three, I think they'd be worth a fortune right now.
I don't know if they're original. They're kind of plastic things, and you can squeeze them, and they make a noise. I think they were just kind of like dolls.
Yeah,
souvenir
much
dolls
like
that were
Norman
made.
Tebbit at the moment, as a matter of fact. Squeeze him and he makes a noise.
That's not fair. I like Norman Tebbit. Yeah, so I just thought, that was an accidental souvenir. I'm not going to throw that. And a tape. It's on a tape. There are thousands and thousands of tapes at home of songs that I didn't even remember existed. I don't know what to do with them. It's like a stash of about 1,000 tapes.
Yeah, I've got them as well. I've got cassette tapes pouring out of every cupboard door, and I don't want to throw them away, but then I've got nothing to play them on.
Oh, well, he's got 45s and LPs, and we have a turntable. That works.
Really? Because I've got records, but I similarly have nothing to play them on. I think I broke my needle. I put the needle on the record, and the drum beat sounds like this. All that scratching is making me itch, and all that stuff. But it broke, and I never replaced it. But I've got a lot of records, just nothing to hear them on.
Oh, he was very meticulous. This thing works perfectly. I mean, I've been sitting on the station, playing tapes on the station in an old cassette, and people are giving me really strange looks because I'm playing on a tape recorder.
It's because you're a woman, Luana.
No, it's because I've got a tape recorder, and they've got things flying in their ears, and they're thinking, what fool woman is this? What is she doing? What is she playing? What's that thing?
All right,
in 1980,
well, thanks for the
1970s
stroll
so far
down
away, really.
memory lane. Thanks, Luana. 0845 6060 973. There's stuff that you used to hear on the radio. I can remember when the DJs used to play a jingle that said 2 in a row on the Mama show, when they were playing 2 records in a row without talking in the middle of them. It used to be so familiar. It was unheard of, in fact, until very late on, for a DJ to play 2 records in a row without speaking at length, seemingly interminably in between them, talking about what they ate at breakfast and what they did at the weekend and their dog and the ducks that they keep in their garden, and all that rubbish. On and on and on they went. And in order to avoid a freak out from their audience, who might be concerned that they maybe like fallen off their stool or passed out or been carried out dead, if we play 2 songs in a row, we're going to have to alert the audience that don't worry, because your favourite DJ is going to come back in just 3 minutes' time to, avail you of all his, for every tiny thought in his head. Not her head. Waldingham. Hello, Cassie.
Hello, Nick. How
Cassie,
are you?
I am great, mate.
That's good news. Haven't talked to you in ages.
I know.
I wanted to talk to you about souvenirs.
Yeah.
I have some arrowheads from Arizona.
Arrowheads?
Yeah, from when the Indians used to shoot arrows.
Have you had them dated?
No. 2 I was given, and the other one I found, and I've just kept them.
I saw the American version of Antiques Roadshow. Mm-hmm. And this was one of those sort of year-end clip things that they did of the British show, and then they just showed a couple of clips from the American version. And, in this country they'd say, I've got a letter that was posted from the Titanic, and that's worth a couple of £100. And all these... All these people that pretend that they're not interested in the money, but actually are on the edge of their seats, thinking it's going to be worth thousands. This little knick-knack that they brought in, and the valuer will say, "Oh, well, this is a tremendous find. This could be worth worth up to, and you can see them in their minds already buying a new house and an Aston Martin to stick in front of it, and they say, this is going to be a tremendous find. This will probably fetch £50, and they try to keep their spirits up and not look too disappointed, but fail in that regard. And then they, after like a series of these things, they went to the American show, and they showed a guy come in with a blanket. And it looked like the most ordinary blanket you've ever seen in your life. I think it was blue and white and was a very rudimentary design. It didn't look like anything at all. And he'd had it covered, covering the sofa where his dog used to lay. Mm-hmm. And there was a frisson of excitement among amongst some of the experts when he brought this thing in and just laid it down, this moth-eaten old clump of a thing. And they said, well, you know what? What you've got here is a relic of one of the old Indian tribes, the Sioux Indian or like Hopi or one of those tribes. And he says that this is like relatively rare and is very much in demand because the Indian tribes now, they much like Russia wants all their souvenirs back, all their historical artifacts back, as does China. Well, the American Indians have been allowed to put casinos on their reservations, and now it's almost like they're getting the white man back for Manhattan. And they're coining it in. Massive amounts of money they got now. And the blanket that this man used to have his dog sleep on and covered his old sofa was worth $500,000.
Good Lord.
So you might be sitting on something special there, Cassie.
Yeah, I've never had them dated. I didn't even know that they'd be valuable. It's just something that was nice to have. But I've also got some other things. I've got some marble from Ephesus in Turkey. Some
what now?
Marble. You know Ephesus, where they have that street, I think it's a quarter of a mile long, where they did the chariot races.
Oh, yeah.
From, I think it was Ben-Hur and some of those other films.
You nicked marble from...
Well, you're not supposed to. It's just a little piece of marble. It was a souvenir. I mean, you have to have something. And I've got a piece of rock from Alcatraz.
You have some rock from the Rock?
Yeah, I do indeed.
Everywhere you go, there's like little bits missing.
Yeah. I remember I had a blanket from the Four Seasons Hotel.
Really? Well, that's
really
the sort of
nice
thing.
blanket.
That's the sort of thing they'll charge you for on.
No, they did charge me for it.
They did.
I paid for that. Right. And one of my most precious things is a book by Hugh Prather, I Touch the Earth Touches Me. It's a lovely book, and I've had it now since, must be the late 70s.
Did you nick that too?
No, it was a gift. But I do. I collect an awful lot of stuff. Right. Oh, and something that's not really mine. It's a letter from Mr. Gladstone to my father, my grandfather, and it's a really old letter. I don't know when he was. I don't know who he was, really. I know he's a politician.
Gladstone? Well, why was he writing to your father? Your grandfather?
How old was he?
Why was he writing?
Oh, because they provided fats and oils for the troops in World War I or II.
Really?
I think it was World War II, and it was he had.
Thanks for all the fat.
Well, it's oil, cooking oil, and all that kind of stuff.
Huh.
Anyway, that was interesting.
Yeah.
It looked important, so I thought I'd hang on to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and I got a bit of fool's gold from California.
Really?
I got from Sutter Creek.
Well, you should alert the Antiques Roadshow. They do an entire show from your place.
Oh, hey, listen, you wouldn't believe the stuff. I've got antiques, a lot of old rubbish. A lot of it looks old, really old. A lot of old oak, a lot of old pictures and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably there are some things that are quite... there's an ormolu, a French ormolu clock that's supposed to be quite valuable.
Lock all the doors, put a security alarm
all the
on,
windows,
and put armed guards on every entrance and exit.
I'm very remote, you know.
Not personally, you mean a cartographer?
I'm a bit like a hermit, really, but, you know, it's a very remote area. I don't have anybody with thieves around here. I've gone to bed before and forgot to close the back door, and that sort of thing.
Well, I don't think that's a very good idea, Cassie. Don't do it.
No, I am
make
more
a habit of
careful
it.
now. No,
Right,
I don't
okay.
make a habit of it. Take care.
Thanks, Cassie. 0845 6060 973. Texts and emails. Fiona in Norwood says, Really?
I don't know, but I like it. It might not be real, but it's her again.
I had a cesarean with my daughter, and you're stitched with nylon wire with beads at each end, and I had them made into earrings. This one says I have autographed photographs of... Oh, I've read that one. And I read that one. I've got a gold coin that was sent to me in the year 2000 by Greenwich Council. What's Greenwich Council doing, sending gold coins to people? I have a gold coin that was sent to me in the year 2000 by Greenwich Council, and I also have a £1 note given to me by my mother, and both are pretty special to me and nice to look at. Why is Greenwich Council giving away golden coins?
It might just be gold in colour. Rather than... I doubt it was a solid gold nugget.
That's what it reads like.
He's got a gold coin.
Yeah, that was sent to him by Greenwich Council.
This is gold in colour, though, isn't it?
I've got no idea. If somebody gave me a gold coin, then I'd want it to be actually gold. I would feel cheated if it was just gold in colour.
You are so ungrateful.
Yes, I am. Hello, Nick. I have a gold sovereign coin given to me years ago, dated 1899. It's worth 20 shillings. And it was recently valued at £269. I have a Bay City Rollers souvenir, says this one. It's tartan framed mirror with faces on it. Well, I've got a rock and roll souvenir. Like I mentioned it a little earlier on. It's an Ian Durion. Oh, here's another rock and roll message. I've got a souvenir that B.B. King gave me when he played Symphony Hall at the Blues Festival with Buddy Guy and Albert Collins. Wow, what a lineup! And finally, for the moment, I've got some JFK silver dollars and a 1976 Olympic coin, says Colin. Well, if an Olympic coin from last year is worth the double or triple what people paid for it, then one from that period has got to be worth a fortune, or nothing at all. Stratford, hello, Susan.
Hello, Nick.
Susan.
I went to Mexico, so I managed to come back with 3 terracotta statues, small terracotta statues.
You were lucky to come back with your life.
Yes, I got on top of the pyramid. You know, the big ones. But I can't say the name, but it begins with T. You know, and I surveyed the landscape from the top, where they used to cut people's hearts out.
Yeah, the Mayans.
Yeah, no, Aztecs, I think they were.
Aztecs, Mayans, they all appear the same to me.
Mm.
Weren't the Mayans Mexican?
I think they're further south into another country,
right.
But I'm not sure.
Okay.
And I've got some gold coins, a gold coin in their coinage as a ring, and a sovereign and a half sovereign, which is the English coinage.
If everybody rooted around in the backs of their drawers and found all the gold that they have and have forgotten about, and if we compiled it in one giant lump, I'd be worth £1 million, yes?
Stick it in an envelope and send it to one of those cash for gold places.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Don't do it, Susan.
That's not the advice of LBC.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks a lot, Susan. 0845 6060 973. I've got a telephone from the reception desk of the Crossroads Motel in the 1970s. Does that count? Absolutely. I went to a fantastic show the other day, and they had one of those old telephones, and it's a show called The Drowned Man, which is at Temple Studios in Paddington. It's one of the most unusual things and eye-poppingly strange things I've ever been to in my life. It's definitely worth going to. A brilliant show, and they had those telephones in there. And it's one of these promenade shows where you don't sit down and watch it all happen, you walk through it. And it's a massive building, which is labyrinthine in its complexity, and you could probably go there 4 or 5 times and not see it all. You know, you crawl through tunnels and emerge into rooms, and the actors wander around and do things around you, and it's... you're nodding like you've done it.
No, it just sounds really good.
Oh, it is fantastic. And... while I was in there, a phone rang. And you as a viewer, you go around with a mask on, and the actors themselves don't have a mask.
Oh, I've heard of these. Yeah, sounds brilliant.
And a phone rang, and I thought, oh, I'll pick it up. And little did I realise that I was standing in the way of the actress who was supposed to be doing the picking up. I felt like a right Burke.
So what happened?
Well, she, the second I picked it up and I held it to my head, well, there was nobody there. But then, it was, there wasn't anybody there. She was going to act as though there was somebody there.
But
and so I just held it here, and she came around me and said, I think it's for me.
I think, though, it sounds like the kind of show where you'd be more than right to pick up a phone.
Yes,
there could
well,
be
that's what I
somebody on
felt,
the other
yeah.
end, and there could be giving you an instruction of something you've got to do.
It's a brilliant thing, and if you, if it's something that sounds like, here's how I would describe it, and this is a pretty accurate description. If you want to feel like you're in a David Lynch film, then this is the show for you. And they have a bar that has like a nightclub chanteuse. That's worth going I mean, I would go back just to sit in the bar if it didn't cost so much to get in. It's a brilliant thing. And I'll say it again in case you missed it the first time. It's called The Drowned Man, a Hollywood fable. It's at Temple Studios in Paddington. The National Theatre, they're putting it on. It's very, very, very good. This message says, we can raise Amanda's wedding coin. We can raise Amanda's wedding coin with a house brick, which has Charles and Diana's 29th July 1981 carved into the surface. What on earth does that mean? I've got no idea. I've read it twice and I still don't get it. I have a souvenir tea towel from the 1966 Football World Cup, says this. On it are pictures of some of the stadiums which were used during the tournament, including Roker Park in Sunderland. Also shown is the mascot, World Cup Willie, a wee lion. I have a picture of Concorde with one of the pilot's signatures on it. It's also framed in a wooden case. It's from 2003. Does this count? Absolutely. A souvenir mug of Charles and Diana's marriage, a souvenir mug from the World Cup of Spain in '82, and a signed photo of Debbie Reynolds with myself and my late husband. Regarding collectibles, I recently found a Rollerball World Cup Willie, still in the box from 1966. What's that mean? A Rollerball World Cup Willie. I've got no idea what that means. It only cost a few shillings in 1966, and now it's worth £75 on eBay. Nice little reminder of our only ever win, says Mary. Yeah, thanks for reminding us that it's our only ever win. A rollerball. Maybe they mean that's a pen? Is that what that means?
What?
A rollerball.
I recently found a Rollerball World Cup Willie still in box.
Because I thought it was the World Cup of rollerball.
Well, I've recently found a rollerball.
Well,
I thought you'd know what it was because I thought you'd remember.
Nick, I was 6 years old. I have a souvenir from what?
I can remember when I was 6.
Can you?
Charles and Diana got married, hence the coin.
Right. I have no idea what happened when I was 6. I have no memory of
You don't have any memory whatsoever.
At all. No.
Did they drop you on your head?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, they did.
Did they really?
I fell off a rockery onto my head, which explains a lot. I got it in before you did. Shut up. 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's at LBC973. Nick Abbott, LBC 97.3.
973. This is London's biggest conversation with Nick Abbott.
Please hold the line. I'm trying to connect you.
Yes, your call is important to us. 0845 6060 973. Well, I've detailed the awful the story about companies surveilling us. It's not just the government, and it's not just banks, and it's not just lawyers, and it's not just newspapers. It's, well, everyone. I mean, is there a single organisation that is not currently spying on what we are doing? No. And it's about to get worse. The European Union, the EU, is planning to own and operate spy drones. surveillance satellites and aircraft as part of a new intelligence and security agency under the control of Baroness Ashton, or Darth Insidious, as I shall call her. The European Commission and Lady Ashton's European External Action Service want to create a military command and communications system to be used by the EU for internal security and defence purposes, which sounds like they want to crush the rebel alliance. Senior European officials regard the plan as an urgent response to the recent scandal over the American and British communications surveillance by creating the EU's own security and spying agency. So their answer to the scandal about spying is more spying. Yeah, that makes sense. There is an already intense behind-the-scenes battle pitting London against the rest over plans to create an EU military operations headquarters in Brussels. And Lady Ashton, the European Foreign Minister, the Commission and France, backed by Germany, Italy, Spain and Poland, all support the plans. Both sets of proposals are likely to come to a head at an EU summit fight in December. They'll put it to the vote of the Galactic Federation. Britain's got a veto, but the group of countries have threatened to use a legal mechanism created by the Lisbon Treaty to bypass the British and create a major rift in NATO, a disturbance in the force. We are the Rebel Alliance and the EU is the Galactic Empire. Get ready, it's war. Nigel Farage, the leader of the Wookiees, described the plan for the EU spy drones and satellites as deeply sinister. Correctamundo, Nigel. The spy drones and secure command systems are going to be linked to a £3.5 billion satellite spy project known as Copernicus, which will be used to provide common security and defence policy missions and operations. It's part of the Sentinel system of satellites, previously known as the Death Star, which is to become operational next year. I'm sure I've seen all this before, in a galaxy far, far away, and we got saved by Muppets. So maybe David Cameron and George Osborne are the chosen ones. Chertsey. Hello, Sandra.
Hello, Nick.
Sandra.
Well, I'm getting an echo back. Can you hear it? I just said to Amanda, this isn't so much an Antiques Roadshow as all the souvenirs you've had, although I've got the usual Diana and Charles stuff and pre-decimal currency I never got round to spending. But
have you got an old threepenny bit?
Oh, you know, I can't remember. It's quite a bit, actually. Because the thing is, it can be Queen Victoria, it doesn't necessarily have to be that valuable. You can still buy it in antique shops and stuff. But, oh, yeah, there would have been a threepenny bit. There'd been everything, actually, yeah. Why, I mean...
My favourite coin of all time, a threepenny bit.
There's one very valuable coin. You need to look in the magazine. I think it's 1920, not printed, but it would have been all the regular stuff that you used then, you know. But it wasn't so much about that. By the way... tasteful this is. Did anyone else have an Indian Joe from the seaside, the little Indian man? It was apron blue, sky is two, apron pink, weather stink.
That does actually ring a bell.
It does.
What changed the colour? What colour?
Well, it's supposed to be the weather. You know, you got.
Yeah, I know, but what was changing colour though? What on it changed colour?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. They had a little apron in a sort of fuzzy material, as I remember. Yeah, I mean, I do remember. I remember it perfectly. Yeah, and hopefully, if it was hot, it'd be blue, and if it was, you know, like tonight, it'd be pink.
Well, I can remember my aged aunties used to have a sort of a hut with two doors, and a boy would come out if it was going to be nice, and a girl would come out if it was going to be bad, which is sexist.
Had that one.
Yeah.
Gosh, had loads. And also, there was a little Poe, if you know what people used, that which people would keep under the bed, and it had perfume called Sweet Pea, a spot of luck with every drop. Really tasteful, this. Yes. And my story is actually a bit of the Kiss Me Quick brigade stuff, because at the seaside, probably somewhere like Southsea or Brighton, my gentleman companion and I went into one of those sweet shops where you get souvenirs to take home, you know, the sweets, the funny shapes, some of those things, aren't they? And you take back home or to the office, and we looked around all the rock and the fudge with postcards on, and we came out the door, and we were suddenly stopped in our tracks by the owner, a male, rushing out behind us, shouting, if not screaming, "You're going next door, aren't you? They haven't got anything we haven't got. They're dearer than us."
Well, that's just good salesmanship.
Well, yeah, that sort of thing seems to happen to me. I don't know, but yeah, as I said, we went to the path and he ran out behind us and just screamed the place down.
Yeah, well, it's not a library, Sandra. Buy something.
Well, I probably didn't like the colour of the stripes on the rock or something.
Yeah. Or the words that are written through it. Yeah.
Oh no! As I said, I haven't been for a long time, but as I said, you're probably familiar with those. There seem to be some very odd sort of items in there.
No, I'm not familiar with odd items. I don't know what you're referring to. But anyway, my mind is spinning. Don't describe it for us. Thanks a lot, Sandra. 0845 6060 973. Just when you thought that the banks couldn't be accused of doing anything more utterly nefarious, court papers emerged yesterday which revealed a consortium of retailers, household high street names, have lodged papers against Visa in the High Court on Tuesday. The retailers wanted to recoup payment processing or interchange fees dating back 10 years. It follows a settlement in the US last year where Visa and MasterCard agreed to pay US retailers, guess how much? Have a wild stab in the dark, Amanda.
They they want to pay retailers...
This is because they've been, they want to recoup processing or interchange fees. In other words, they think that they're being charged too much by the credit card companies. I hate it when you get me to do this, because I'll say something and it'll either be way too much... A US settlement last year where Visa and MasterCard agreed to pay US retailers...
$30,000.
Thank you for underestimating massively. You deliberately did that, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, because otherwise I get it...
I know, you don't want to get it wrong. Absolutely. You got it. This time you got it right. Correct in every respect. Right? No. $7.25 billion. Not million, billion. It's the largest antitrust settlement in the US in the US's history. The move in the High Court here will pit some of the High Street's biggest names against the world's financial sector. It comes just days after the European Union proposed caps on the amount that banks can demand for processing customers' payments on plastic. EU chiefs want to set a limit of 0.2% on debit card payments and 0.3% for credit cards. Not the British government, as cosy as it is to the financial behemoths, but the EU.
Thank you.
Thank you, the EU. MasterCard is already being sued by retailers. Sources in the banking world said previous experience suggested little, if any, benefit retailers may gain would be passed back to customers. Well, perhaps, but what's that got to do with it? They added that ultimately card providers may be forced to shelve credit cards offering perks such as air miles or other loyalty points if the EU proceeds with its cap. Well, that would be tragic, wouldn't it? I mean, at the moment, you only have to spend, it's about £100,000 on a credit card to get a free 50-quid flight. How will we cope without it? I got one of those credit cards, the credit cards that give you miles on planes. And I assumed, in my ignorance, that you got a mile for every pound you spent, because that was the inference in the advert that made me rush out and get it. I thought, wow, that sounds like an excellent idea. But it's not even close. And when I realised how much I would have to spend just to get a flight to, Amsterdam or somewhere near like that, which of course did not include the fees, which is most of the price of a flight these days, I thought, well, what's the point? And I cancelled my card. The British Retail Consortium claims that retailers pay £850 million a year to card schemes and banks to process card fees. They said that stores could be charged as much as 2.5% per transaction. What a racket. She said the proposed EU cap would save £362 million a year. but urged the UK government to go further and faster by enforcing cuts on its own. Does anybody think that the UK government will do anything to upset the banking racket?
Negative.
Of course not. It's where they want to spend their retirement. The British Retail Consortium says capping these excessive and anti-competitive fees will support the UK retail industry, boosting the industry's ability to invest and innovate while continuing to deliver lower prices and value for customers. While continuing to deliver high bonuses for their directors, more like. But a strike at the banks has got to be good, right? May the wind be behind you and the force be with you. Catterick Garrison. There's no such place. Alan.
Yeah, you're right. It is the armpit of the world.
Is it?
How are you?
I'm all right. Where's Catterick Garrison?
Near Darlington.
You're making it up.
It's basically a place that rains all the time. It's an army training establishment.
Oh, it's a garrison in Catterick.
Yes.
Right. That makes more sense.
Yeah, I was just ringing to tell you, you were talking about various gold. I've got the taps from Saddam Hussein's bedroom. Which is, which I thought was quite unusual listening to your radio show.
Well, how did you come about the gold taps from Saddam Hussein's bedroom?
2003, we took over Basra Palace. It was heavily bombarded by artillery and mortar rounds before we went in. Basically cleared it out without getting into too much detail, and we were held there for days, and I just thought it'd be a nice little perk to take with me.
Well, how did you jimmy them off the sink?
Bolt cutters, literally. Bolt cutters in the back of the in the back of the DYE kit.
Now,
literally cut them off and pulled them out.
And are they in the shape of a swan or?
No. They're literally like the normal taps. You know, the four-spoke taps. But one of them's got a picture of him on it behind with the Iraqi flag, and the other one has got a man with a white beard.
I bet he's on the hot tap.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, he's actually not. He's on the cold tap. Quite funny enough. But yeah, I just thought that was quite an interesting. It's a little something I've gained through my service in the army.
Well, what happened to to those palaces? Did they get razed to the ground?
Everything got literally. A lot of it was all raided before we even went in.
Right.
The locals all raided it and everything like that, and then it was taken over by the insurgencies. And then we went in because obviously a palace is a great big holding ground.
Yeah.
The stronghold, and literally we just all that was left was door handles and taps, really.
But was the marble? Because I would assume that the place was actually covered in marble, no?
Oh, absolutely. The place was, I'll tell you, it was absolutely amazing. If the British government had any idea what they were doing, we would have cleared it out and brought it back to the UK and kitted out Buck House with it. It was absolutely incredible.
That must have been a very bizarre experience in the middle of all that, to be in such splendour.
It was, but then the palace wasn't all splendid. I mean, there was, very dark and dingy rooms, various chambers that were, used for certain unpleasantries.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, quite a lot. The palace itself was absolutely grand. When we went in through the windows, and which there was no glass in at the time because it had been smashed to bits. But even when it was hit by Challenger 2s, one after the other, it was just incredible if you think the prestige that such a poor country was in, the prestige this man lived in.
Well, you could say that about virtually every dictatorship, the whole world over. The people live in poverty while the generals live in the lap of luxury.
Well, it's the same when we went to Alamara, mate. We built the Alamara Stadium so the Iraqis back in 1991 could have a football tournament. And Saddam used it as a
killing ground,
public execution place. So
what are you going to do with the taps? You're just going to keep them?
I don't. Do you know what? It was really funny because I was sat here with the long-haired general, the wife, and I was like, you were mentioning about gold, and I just haven't mentioned. I went, I've still got them taps in me upstairs in the MFO box.
Have you never felt the urge to connect them to the mains?
No. you never know what might come out if you tell
Well, that is a good point, yeah.
Like, you never know. No, it's just something you never think about, just the kit you get, and you just collect it all in a box, really. I mean, you collect stuff in the army all over the world, like Belize and, you know, Guatemala and Afghan and everything.
I think it's called booty, isn't it? Spoils of war.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. All
There's
right,
no pension, is there? So you might as well, you might as well collect something for the future.
I suppose so.
So I just thought you might be interested, or your listeners might be interested to, you know, hear that. Really.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks a lot, Alan.
No, have a nice day, sir.
Cheers, mate. 0845 6060 973. The gold taps from... I'd like the gold taps from Saddam Hussein's place. I think I'd stick them on my in the smallest room. Not my executive washroom, in the place where I direct my visitors. Freak them out with a picture of Saddam Hussein on the cold tap. I think that would be amusing. It would amuse me. 0845 6060 973. Nick Abbott, LBC 97.3.
LBC 97.3.
I've mentioned a couple of times that I have a souvenir of Ian Dury, and this was about 1977, 78, one of the first tours that he did, and I was, as was my wont at the time, right up the front, because if you sat back in your seats, it almost felt like you weren't a part of the proceedings. These days, of course, I wouldn't move from my seat, or I'd be at the bar, or I just wouldn't go at all. And so there I was, with the throng up by the stage, and he used to bring out like all these props and scarves, and he used to bring out like shopping bags and rummage around in them and just bring out things and use them. He was an extraordinary performer, one of the best I've seen. And one of the things that he had was a scarf that he had tied around his neck, and he was like waving it around and wiping his face with it and like draping it over the microphone. And he threw it up in the air, and I caught it, which displeased him, because he didn't want to give it away. And much to my obvious distress, he asked for it back. And I'd already thought, right, that's mine, I'm having it. And but, you know, Ian Dury's on stage and he wants you to give him his little thing back, so I had to. I was very upset. And he took it back off me, and he rummaged around in his bag, and he got another scarf, which he gave to me. And I took it home, pressed to my little chest, and when I got it inside my parents' house, I realised that it actually was the smelliest thing that I had ever witnessed in my life. It stank. Yes?
You don't know where he got it from in the first place.
Well, he probably bought it in a shop, but he used it on...
picked it up from a skip or from a bin outside.
That is possible, yes. Or tied to a dog, which is what it smelled like. I would guess that he just used it as a stage prop, and he had it round his neck, perhaps, and it just received Ian Dury sweat and never, ever got washed. It was...
Swoon.
Exactly, yeah. You could virtually pass out smelling it. And so that's the only souvenir I think I've got from anything. Something that you couldn't be in the same room as. It smelled so much.
Have you still got it?
I don't know. I think I was encouraged to get rid of it, or at least wash it. Yeah. Mm. Because you wash something and then it's lost its mojo. It's lost its essence. Mm. It had its essence all over it. Here's Harrow. Hello, Jean.
Hello. Love your tale about Ian Dury's scarf.
Yes.
I'm surprised your mum let it in the house at all.
Well, I don't think she knew I was bringing it in.
No, she just sniffed it out under the bed or something afterwards.
So, Jean.
What I have that is very old and a silly sort of souvenir, I have my national identity card, which was issued in 1951.
Now, remind people who aren't that old what that was for.
Well, they issued them during the war to everybody. If you ever see sort of films or of the war years, people are asked to produce their identity card, and when you look at it, it's really just a little bit of folded up cardboard with some printing and some handwritten stuff on it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, whether it's something that looks like it could be knocked up by a 10-year-old on a typewriter.
Yes, I would say that they could these days. I didn't know that I'd got one until I was nearly 16 when my mum gave it to me.
But was there any sort of I can't think what the word is, not fraud, but when you copy something illegally, what's it called?
Forgery.
Forgery, yes. Was there any anti-forgery measures on it?
I don't think they thought about those things anymore, to be honest.
Really?
Because what amazed me was the war had been over, in 39 to 45. The war had been over for 6 years by the time I was born.
Yeah.
And they were still issuing these cards.
Right. I'm surprised that we don't have to carry them around on a permanent basis. I bet, having just said that, I bet that we shortly will. Because you have to in America. You are encouraged, if not they demand, that you carry around an ID of some sort. Because you get carded when you ask for a beer. Even if you're 50 years old, they'll still ask you for identification.
That's right.
And if you get stopped by the police driving a car, then you have to have your ID. But in this country, we're a bit lackadaisical in that respect, but I bet not for long.
We are. And the one thing that I spotted about this card, because I listen to LBC all the time. I got rid of my television last year. I had too much grief trying to go digital and stuff, and after a few weeks I thought, I haven't watched it, I'll carry on listening to the radio.
Huh.
That there's been talk about people having to prove their ID to go to the doctors and get treatment and all this sort of thing, all the immigrants and that. But when I actually looked at my ID card, which I haven't got on me at this precise moment in time, there was my name, my date of birth, and like a reference number on it, which was 4 letters and then 3 numbers. And when I thought, I've seen that number before, and we used to be given, certainly up into the 70s and 80s, when you signed on with a doctor, you got a card with your name on it and the name of who your GP was, and then if you changed doctors, you took it to the new GP, and they updated it.
Right.
And
this is not your national insurance card. This is something else. I haven't seen this.
This was for national health, to see your GP, to show that you were signed on with a GP, and you have a national health number, which at the time my ID card was issued, it was the same number as my national health number.
Remember, Jean, you're not a number, you're a free woman.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, thanks a lot, Jean.
Then they got all sort of digital, and it's not nice numbers anymore. If you ever visit a hospital or anything, or if you get prescriptions from your doctor, it's actually got your national health number on it, that they changed them some years back, that I think there'd be a lot to be said for going back to issuing everybody when they're born or when they're officially entered into this country a card with that number on, that is then your national identity number and your national health service.
Well, hold your breath, Jean. It will be with us shortly. I'm convinced of it. I mean, as much as we are surveilled and spied upon by various banks and law firms and pharmaceutical companies, no one is spying on us more than the government. And to have got this far without being required to carry identification at all times just seems, well, it seems barely believable. It'll come, just you wait. Mark my words. Talking of television, by the way, there was the extraordinary story of Channel 4 suspending filming of a television programme because they thought it was in bad taste. I know that seems hard to believe. Channel 4 thought it was in bad taste. So I'll come to that in just a minute. LBC 97.3, I'm Nick Abbott. It's 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's at LBC973. The time, 12:30. The news with Zora Sullivan.
Come on, we're running late!
What do you associate with Channel 4? What's the first thing that springs to mind when you think Channel 4? The first thing that springs to my mind is that it's a constant, never-ending freak show. Perhaps I am incorrect. You know, apart from the bloke with the wacky ties and the silly socks that reads the news, and I don't know, I can't take him seriously. But apart from him, it just seems to be like a never-ending display of weirdos. What's the first thing you think of when you think Channel 4 there, Amanda?
Hollyoaks.
Right, like I said, a never-ending display of weirdos and freaks. I can't believe that that's still on. Is that still on?
I'm afraid so.
Wow. Channel 4 has suspended filming of a documentary series about hedonistic British holidaymakers in Corfu, what a scorcher, after it was accused of targeting young British girls holidaying in Kavos who have unprotected sex. A 20-strong team of filmmakers were flown back to Britain after it was alleged that the producers of What Happens in Kavos had offered their staff a prize if they could find drunken women using the morning after pill as contraception. The team has been scouring the Greek island resort for cheating couples, gay men who convert straight men, and people having one-night stands. They were said to have been told to head back to holidaymakers' apartments at the end of wild nights out to film any romps. In documents seen by the Stun newspaper, crews were told who should be filmed. The instructions allegedly told a team to look out for couples on holiday, jealous of the sexual attention their partner attracts, or completely like a fish out of water. Groups who are successful with the pulling and who have sex, girls who take up the morning after pill as a form of contraception, and there's a special prize if you can get that story. Channel 4 said in a statement, Channel 4 does not condone the deeply inappropriate references to casting in the What Happens in Kavos production notes. Methinks they do protest too much. I mean, isn't this exactly the sort of thing that you would expect? You're shaking your head.
I just think it's appalling. Why would anybody want to watch that as a
Are you kidding? That's the only thing that people want to watch. Daft reality programmes about the people behaving badly.
But we've surely seen enough.
No, apparently not. It's massively popular.
But it's been really popular for way over 10 years.
Yeah, I know, way too long, like those daft talent shows, and people don't seem to be able to get enough of them.
I think they're on the wane now.
I'm not sure, because TV companies love this stuff because you don't have to write it. All you have to do is point a camera at somebody, they will embarrass themselves, and then you just cut it up to make them look like fools.
It all just follows such a set formula now,
yeah.
All of it, that, I fell out of love with anything like that a long time ago.
You used to love it?
Because I was desperately in love.
According to Channel 4's website, the 3-programme series follows young Brits over a summer in Kavos to get a glimpse of what really happens in the hedonistic party town, away from parents and surrounded by temptation. For the 400 or so Brits working at the resort, that means night after night of heavy drinking, casual sex and low pay. Well, that sounds like a Channel 4 programme to me. It says the few hundred British workers soon become a very distinct breed, more promiscuous, more prone to injuries, and often needing the services of the local clinic. We're number one. No matter where we go, it's chaos. The 3-part documentary was a hit with the 16 to 34 audience, and the episodes 1 and 2 were the most tweeted about shows on the day that they were aired. See? Can't get enough of it. Producers pledged that Series 2 would delve deeper into the lives of these young, holiday-making Brits who want hardcore hedonism on a budget. Whoa, eh? Sounds exactly like a Channel 4 show, and the Channel 4 chiefs are appalled at this. Maybe they don't watch their own channel. That's all Channel 4 is these days, freak shows and game shows. And so I just looked, I searched on their website for 2 minutes, less than that. And I came up with some of these are all actual programmes. I'm not making this up. There's one called Hairy Women.
When's that on?
There's the one called The Boy Whose Skin Fell Off.
That's quite sad.
There's one called Body Shock. Description, a jaw-dropping romp through the most shocking body transformations the world has ever seen, from the people who want to build up their muscles to the point of bursting, to the man who gave birth, or those who tattoo, pierce, chop and change their bodies in the name of body modification.
Sounds horrific.
Tattoo, yes. Pierce, yes. Chop, what does that mean? Don't even ask.
Watch and find out.
Body shock. And then there's one called 50 Greatest Plastic Surgery Shockers. All Channel 4 programmes.
But the thing is, BBC Three also have the equivalent of these programmes on, but they
I don't believe it.
They absolutely do. They've got a programme where...
Well, this doesn't mean to say it's right. Two wrongs don't make a right.
I'm not saying it's right, but what I'm saying is that BBC Three dress it up. They'll have that Dr. Christian blokey on to say, so people, embarrassing bodies. That's BBC Three, isn't it? So people who claim they're too embarrassed to go to the doctor, but they don't mind... showing everybody a strange boil they've
have you ever seen this before?
Exactly.
There's a Channel 4 programme called The Idiot Awards. I am not making this up. And there's one called Playing It Straight. Description, the reality game show that throws down the ultimate gaydar gauntlet with money at stake for the man who can play it straight. This sounds like the sort of thing that that comics would come up as joke shows, but they actually made these and put them out on television. And it sounds like that programme, What Happens in Kavos, would fit right in.
Correct.
But they're appalled, apparently. Camden, hello, Kevin.
Hi, Nick. Thanks
Kevin.
for taking my call. About, like, souvenirs, what people give you. I took my son to, like, an Arsenal football game at the old stadium, and I forget what player, it was like their last game. Anyway, a certain player threw their top into the crowd, right? And we bluffed it anyway. We're in the disabled bit because I'm not well, right? But anyway.
But you can't remember which player it was?
Who was leaving? It was a Dutch player.
Right.
Right, but the point was, anyway, we got the kit manager, David, whatever his name was as well. And I said, oh, look, my poor little son, can't you get him a souvenir? Right? So Patrick Vieira heard, and he took off his top and gave it to my son.
Huh.
Right? Really, because it's obviously got his name and number, but the only thing that distinguishes that it is real, I don't know if you know Patrick Vieira and seen him for football, all he does throughout the match is dribble and like continuous white dribble and phlegm all going down his top. You know what I mean? So unless someone wants to try and fake it, right, we've got the original.
Right. Phlegm still in place.
Yeah, so that's a bit like your stinky scarf.
A little bit, yeah. So you haven't considered washing it?
No, we framed it.
Oh.
But it had to be a padded frame because it was quite, thick. But it's really good. Right?
What a disgusting story. Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Bye.
It was both heartening and appalling at the same time. Kind of like a Channel 4 show. I didn't know he dribbled. I mean, I thought he could dribble, but I didn't think that's the kind of dribbling that he was, specialist in. Yes, lady with the hand in the air with a disgusted look on her face?
Well, I think phlegm features far too much in this programme.
In football?
No, in this programme.
Oh, in this programme.
It seems to come up every week in some different discussion.
Please, control yourself.
Mainly by you, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's my fault. His call in Bromley. Hello, Barbara.
Oh, hello.
Barbara.
It's about the identity card, souvenirs.
Yeah.
And when that lady was talking about her identity card, I realised I've still got mine. And, of course, as a child in the war, everybody had to have an identity card. And the parents were, really made sure that you remembered that number. You always had it with you, because if the family were wiped out, you had to be able to prove, who you were.
Yeah.
And I've still got it. I've just looked it out again. And I still remember the number. And it was before we had the National Health. And so, of course, it was my medical card as well. And I've still got it. And I won't, when people say, what's your medical number, if you have to see a doctor or the hospital, and I give that. I won't use
this newfangled one.
Dozens of numbers.
You can still remember it off the top of your head.
67 stroke Oh,
Well, don't tell us. Don't tell us. Don't tell us. Don't tell us. I can't remember my own phone number. I have to look at the top of a newspaper to remember what year it is, and you can still remember your old ID number.
Now, but I'm quite a bit older than you, so I'm 81, and I can't always remember the date. I think, is it Saturday or Sunday?
Oh well, yeah, that obviously, but you should be able to remember what year it is, and sometimes I can't.
It's the month as well that I get in a muddle with, But I've still got that medical card, which was my identity card, and I'd never forget it. You just can't. You learn it as a child, and it just stays there. It was so important at that time. Everybody had to have an identity card.
Well, I don't remember anything that I'm supposed to from my childhood, including everything I learnt at school. The only thing I can remember from my entire schooling was that carbon dioxide turns lime water milky.
Oh, does it? Well, that's very interesting.
I don't know whether it does or not, but that's what I learnt.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the one thing that I learnt in my entire school career is actually true.
Well, is it true? Have you tried to prove it?
I don't have access to carbon dioxide, and I don't even know what lime water is.
Lime water?
Yeah, carbon dioxide turns lime water milky. I don't even know what that is. What a useless piece of information to hold on to. I also know that 6/8 are like 30. Something like that. It's about right. Thanks a lot, Barbara. 0845 6060 973. 6/8 are?
48.
30. It's about 30, yeah. Here is Forest Gate. Paul.
Oh, hello.
Paul.
Hello. He was talking about, like, what people have got over the years and things like that. Well, I've met a few celebrities and different people in my lifetime of doing the type of work I've been doing. And
what do you do?
I'm a personal bodyguard for singers.
You're a personal bodyguard for singers?
Yeah. And I've got a signed T-shirt from Chuck Berry, which I've had framed with his son, which was playing with him as well. Plus, I've got another T-shirt done by Chaz and Dave.
Chaz and Dave just released an album. Can you believe it? They're still going.
Rock and roll!
Yeah. I've got other ones which were... I've got a picture, or a picture that was done by Charles Bronson, which is the gentleman that's in prison at the present moment.
Charles Bronson? Oh, that Charles Bronson, not the Charles Bronson, the other Charles Bronson. Right, okay.
Yeah. Plus I've got other things like book signs from Roy Shaw.
Who's that?
The Pretty Boy Roy Shaw, which is a bare-fist boxer that fight with Lenny McLean and things like that.
You were a security guard for a bare-knuckle boxer. You'd think they'd be able to secure themselves.
Yeah, I know. What else have I got? I've got another one which is from Bruce Reynolds, which is the Great Train Robber, as well.
You were a security guard for the Great Train Robber. This is a bit... This is straying into bizarre territory.
Yes, and a load of other singers like Susie and the Banshees. I've got, like, signed autographs.
Well, if you ever get to do security for Justin Bieber, will you give him a slap for us?
Slapping is more than that.
Just think about it, Paul, and report back as soon as you can. Well, send it a picture. Tweet it. Good man. 0845 6060 973. Here's a person that has that is familiar with Channel 4 documentaries. Hackney. Olu.
Hello, good evening, Nick.
Olu.
Yeah, I was on a documentary about 3 years ago called The Family. It was on Channel 4 for about 7 weeks, and it was kind of like being in a Big Brother house. They put cameras all over my house, in every room, basically 24 hours a day.
Why?
They wanted to look at a Nigerian family and just see what we was like, how we lived, how we interacted with one another. They did other series as well. They did a white family first, and they done an Asian family, and they done us last.
Well, what did they expect that you would do? Communicate by drums? I mean, you spoke to each other, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know why they really wanted to speak to us.
How did you get selected?
Well, basically, we've got a Nigerian restaurant in Dalston called Asarok, and they basically came into our shop, and they were basically walking around asking different people whether they wanted to, if this would be something they were interested in, and they basically asked us, and we thought, yeah, let's give this a go, you know.
Now, when television people, I have a limited experience of television people coming in, because I've rented out the place that I used to have to TV crews quite a few times. And what television people do when they come in is completely take over. Is that what they did to your place?
They did. Basically, we had to, the amount of wires that they used to set everything up. I mean, they took the house next door, because fortunately that house was vacant at the time, and we had to move out of the house for like a week, but then just to set up the cameras, and when they were finished, we had to move out again for another week.
Now, did they pay you? Please say yes.
They paid us something, but not a substantial amount. They called it a disruption fee for basically, because my parents were supposed to go on holiday at the time they were meant to be filming, so they had to cancel that. And we had to take a bit of time off work to be in the house a bit more. And
well, give us an idea of the kind of amount, and I'll tell you how much I got, and then you tell me how much you got. Let's do it the other way around, because what I'm going to say might upset you. Go ahead.
Okay, basically, I can't remember how much it totaled up to. I think it was around about 10 to 15,000 pounds.
Right. Okay, 10 to 15,000. Well, that's not bad. You happy with that?
But it wasn't really like paying us. They just said it was a disruption.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it was all right. It was not bad.
I thought I thought you were going to tell me they gave you like 50 quid just or like a bottle of beer and a ham sandwich, something like that.
No.
Because when a film crew comes in, I think you want about £2,000 a day. They're like there or thereabouts.
How much did you get paid?
£2,000 a day. £2,000 for the days that they filmed, and £2,000 for any day that they just popped their head around the corner and left equipment or put up sets and whatever it was that they.
What were they filming? A feature film or something?
Well, I had there was a film with Martin Shaw, one of these P.D. James thrillers. We had. You remember Footballers' Wives? That TV program, Footballers' Wives. Yeah, a bit of that was filmed in my place, and a scene with a girl in a shower for Playboy magazine was filmed in my place. Yes,
Where
lady
do
with
you
her hand in
live?
the air.
An Essex mansion or something?
No, I don't live there anymore. This was a place that I had that was it was the top of a church, giant wide open spaces and like triple height ceilings and all the rest of it.
Wow.
Yeah. But I don't live there no more. I live in a damp garret.
I doubt it, not from the money that you made off renting out that place to film crews.
Well, at the time I was unemployed, so it was the only money I had coming in. Desperate we were. Well, I know, but you see, it's not like Downton Abbey. You can't rely on them coming back over and over and over again. Anyway, thanks a lot, Olu. Good work. Cheers, mate. 0845. Oh, by the way, how was the experience? Was it pleasant? Not? Would you recommend it? Or not rely on them coming back over and over and over again. Oh, I think he's gone. He's put the phone down on the table and disappeared. Never mind. We'll never know.
He told me that I asked him how it was, and he said it was a good experience. He enjoyed it.
Huh. Well, hopefully it was good for his restaurant.
Well,
get the customers piling in through the door.
Also, I mean,
because he's celebrity.
He would have come across quite well, I think, and he's not, because he's not in Magaluf drinking a litre of ouzo and ending up in an STD clinic, is he? So.
It sounds like you're referring to that from experience. Kensington. Hello, Richard. Hello, Richard.
Hello, hi. Who's that, Nick?
Yes.
How you doing, Matt? You know, by the way, I love your attitude.
My tude?
Your attitude.
I don't have an attitude. I don't have an attitude.
Huh? Yeah, you got an attitude. You've got your own remarks and stuff.
Oh, that.
And you stand up for yourself. I like that.
Right.
Yeah, really. Anyway, what I was going to say was, okay, this is not maybe as great as anything else, but in terms of memorabilia, I was 14 when the 1964 World's Fair was going on. Didn't live that far away from it.
Where was that?
In New York.
The 1964 World's Fair. I'm unfamiliar with it.
Well, whatever. It was a World's Fair in New York, and there was a whole bunch of things. The Chrysler building, the Ford building, the Chevrolet building, all this stuff. There was a whole lot of it going on. It was really, really, really cool. And I still have the, what's it called? The book to show you how to get around. I can't think of what it's called.
The program.
The program, yes. Forgive my ignorance there. The program, and I have maps, I have badges and stuff. I still have this stuff. And I think it's great. And my girlfriend, who's 15 years old, younger than me, I've shown her all this stuff, and she said, wow.
Okay.
That's all I really wanted to say.
All right, good man, you said it. Thanks a lot, Richard. 0845 6060 973. This says, I inherited my mother's coffee hand grinder, which belonged to her mother, not far from 100 years old, and I still use it to grind my espresso beans. Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore. My parents have got one of those ancient old wooden hand grinder things, and it works perfectly. If you'd bought one that does it electrically, it would have broken almost the instant you took it out of the store. This one says, I have a set of 1946 coins from George VI. The mint-condition brass thruppenny is now worth £600. Also, why doesn't anyone spend the £5 coin which comes out each year? Well, they assume that it'll be worth more than £5. Is it ever? This says, I have an ashtray with pictures of the England 1966 World Cup squad, plus a dinner menu signed by the players at their celebration dinner in the Café Royal. Any offers? No. An ashtray. That's when in the era when the footballers used to smoke while they were playing. This says, I still have my little teddy bear that my father bought me when I was little, when I had surgery on my hand in Denmark. It's the oldest thing I own. I got it in 1992. That's not old. Well, it depends how old you are, I suppose. I have a trophy for coming first in a Scalextric competition. There were 20 people, and I was the best, and it's gold-coloured. Not actual gold. This says, Nick, the coins that were sent out by Greenwich Council were sent out to all school children in the borough at the turn of the millennium. I have 2 of them, says Shirley in Woolwich. 2? And finally, I've lived in Greenwich for 73 years. They've never sent me a gold coin. Moan, moan, moan. Bloomsbury. Hello, Dennis.
Hi, Nick.
Dennis.
The guy was talking about the Arsenal football shirt earlier, Patrick Vieira.
Yes.
It's Vic. He always used to rub Vic on the front of his shirt. You know the stuff you rub on your chest if you get a cold?
Yeah.
It's not phlegm. It's Vic. It was really bugging me. Sorry to mention the word again.
Well, I'm glad to know that he hasn't got framed phlegm on the wall.
Absolutely. And can I mention what my council send me?
Go on.
I live in Waltham Forest, and all I get from them is a council tax bill every year, which is absolutely extortionate.
Right, don't frame that, Dennis. It ain't worth it. Thanks a lot, mate. Right, you know, a little while ago I said that there was disturbing... I've uncovered a disturbing truth about Christo.
About his similarity to
Yeah.
Hitler? Is it the moustache? Or?
Psychologists have found that people who are often described as night owls display more signs of narcissism, Machiavellianism and psychopathic tendencies than those who are morning larks. The scientists suggest that the reasons for these traits, known as the dark triad, being more prevalent in those that do better in the night, may be linked to our evolutionary past. They claim that the hours of darkness may have helped to conceal those who adapted a cheater's strategy while living in groups. Some social animals will use the cover of darkness to steal females away from more dominant males. And this behaviour has also recently been spotted in rhinos in Africa. A doctor said it could be adaptively effective to occupy and exploit a low-light environment where others are sleeping and have diminished cognitive function. Such features of the night may facilitate the casual sex, mate poaching and risk-taking in the dark triad traits are linked to. In short, those high on the dark triad traits, narcissism, Machiavellianism and psychopathic tendencies, like many other predators such as lions, African hunting dogs and scorpions, are creatures of the night. You listening to this, Christo? They're rated on scales for narcissism, the tendency to seek admiration and special treatment, Machiavellianism, the desire to manipulate others, and psychopathy, an inclination towards callousness and insensitivity. Notorious leaders, including Adolf Hitler, are among those who have stayed up late at night and displayed these dark personality traits. I'm not saying he's Hitler, but he does stay up late, which is very suspicious.
It is, isn't it?
The Christo Show.
Thank you, yes.
Be afraid.
If I'd been listening to a word you've been saying, then I would be probably quite offended.
Very afraid.
How are you today?
I am super.
Oh, good. I can't believe Footballers' Wives was filmed in your house.
A little bit of it, yeah.
Which one?
It was...
Who was the character? Was it Tanya Turner?
No, it wasn't Tanya.
Was it when she was having the argument with Amber? When she swapped the babies?
It was... I think Amber had to move out and she moved into a temporary apartment.
Yes, she did, and Conrad went in and complained at how much it was.
You know...
I remember it. It was amazing.
You know too much about this.
I do.
On FM, online